Hello and welcome to our third month of ORCA pod coverage on the 11 existing Australian LRGs held in the modern era. Our coverage has spanned Melbourne Survivor 1 and Backyard Survivor 1, and now we move into the first entry from Canberra Survivor 1. This isn't some strange order. There was voting. Votings were held as the best LRGs and ranked. But out of courtesy to all the hard work that everyone does, we did not reveal the outcome of the bottom six. We just put them in a pile, and we're picking them out in a reasonably sensible order for our coverage. And ultimately, we'll get to the top five, which will be ranked. So this was somewhere in the bottom six, which I don't think would surprise anyone. It seems to be the case for these first seasons that people that do the it's their first attempt, and it takes time to really smash it out of the park. And there have been some incredible efforts from seasons, including Canberra, in their later seasons. So I think we can expect to see all of those later on as we move forward. But here we're focusing this month on this fantastic season of Survivor. As usual, will be a 4-week program as we cover the season. Jules and I are going to do a wrap of all of the happenings and a recap right now, which you're all excited to tune in for. We will then have next week a deep dive with the winner, hopefully. I've reached out to Jeremy today because I officially only actually finished the season today. I'll come back to that in a moment. And hopefully he'll be available. And then the week after, we'll have the now infamous tea party with Annabelle and some really hot, exciting guests from the season ready to spill the tea. Most likely Ash, Dom, and Hoppo, or Brendan, as he was known on the show, but as we all know and love him as Hoppo, will be providing, I think, all of the hot, steaming tea for that. And then, as always, we'll wrap up with the awards. Voting is presently open. We've already got a few votes and a catch up with Dan and maybe Liv as well, which would be really fantastic to get the content creators' view of the season. So usual coverage. And now, if you want to start your binging for December month will be, we're going back to the yard. It's Backyard Survivor 3 Exile. So if you want to start your binging for that, that will be the coverage in December. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get into our recap of Survivor Canberra 1. I need to say it the correct way because they've gone for a different naming convention. It's sort of like listing Fast and the Furious movies. I have to get it right. So Survivor Canberra 1 is what we're covering today. And joining me, as always, with these recaps is the fabulous Jules. Welcome.
Thank you. How are we?
I'm great. I just finished this today. Hand on heart, I had not watched this season before. I'd watched maybe the first 3 episodes. And then I think at the time when it was airing, Australian Survivor was on. I was playing a few orgs, and I was just very time poor. So I didn't actually end up finishing the season. So it was only in the last week that I've actually binged this, and I must say I've been pleasantly surprised. I've really enjoyed the season.
Yeah, I think it was a good season. I think, as you touched on before, season 1 of these LRGs tends to it's the foundation where things start off, and then as the seasons go on, there's more people getting involved, there's more money involved, and the quality gets better. But I think for a first attempt, this is a really good season.
I think what's like the absolute pros of this season is the cast in terms of the strategy and the gameplay the cast brought. The 100%. Number of tied votes, every single you go to tribal council, you don't really know which way the vote's going. It could go a couple of different ways. And not just because the edit's showing you that, it just feels like everyone has a few different options on the table. But I'd say the worst part of this season is also the cast, because they're too nice. Like every single one of them, some accepted, which we'll get into, are just like the nicest people in the world, trying to play the most genuine, honest game as genuine, honest people. And frankly, I'm not here for that. That's not why I watch Survivor.
No, this sounds like my mum is playing. Like, my mum doesn't like Survivor because of the nastiness involved. And I think she would have enjoyed this season because there was none of that. But that's why we're here to watch it. We want to see people stab each other in the back.
And I recall, as a little side note, before this season started, I met Dom in a sort of weakest link style game that was organised to raise some money for Melbourne Survivor. And I thought, oh, this Dom guy, he's going to be super ORCA on the season. I can't wait to see him. And I remember being a bit disappointed. And I think the challenge he had, which I think is also the challenge that Ash had, is everyone was just so damn nice that it was like near impossible to be a villain. Like,
and Ash tried her hardest to just not be that villain, but I think there's only so much you can do in that situation.
Yeah, look, as Aston, personally, I think robbed in the pre-merge. But we'll get to Aston in a moment, who's a regular follower of the show. So good to see Aston. It says Alex versus Dom was on the bench. Yes, that was perhaps the most exciting moment, but still, it was really only for a brief moment where she reacted so vehemently to him taking off his shirt, which angered her to a considerable level. And we'll get to that because I don't even know that actually cost him his spot, and it didn't really achieve anything. So we'll get to that. Or I don't think it would have achieved anything. But I think we've got a lot to get through. So why don't we just jump in, start from the start, and we'll work through the season as we do. Anyone's got comments, obviously, comment along. We'll pop them up. I just realized looking at my notes here that Jeremy has there's actually some these initial confessionals to start off the season, which I've noted down what they're saying, are really indicative of what we see in the play out in the season. So, if you were reading the edit from the start, it was Jeremy has the first confessional. So, that's always a bit of a giveaway. And he tells people he's a super fan. He won't tell people he's a super fan. Alex just wants to have a go. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Aston's afraid he's going to go too hard too soon. Checks out.
Yikes.
Charlene doesn't want to deceive people and wants to put others first, but is hoping to adjust, sort of. Dom has it all and the guns. Well, he really just has the guns, let's be real. And Carlene is, she can read people and knows micro expressions. I think she's estimating herself to some element. So they go into this first challenge, and it's a one-on-one tug of war, but the other tribe picks who does the tug of war. What do you think of this setup?
Take it or leave it. I think a tug of war one-on-one is better than a whole tribe thing. We saw in Melbourne how bad that can go when it's the whole tribe and the challenge lasts.
We're about the same length. We're about the same length. Like, what's the difference?
This one went longer.
But maybe 10 seconds longer. Anyway.
It was a bit more interesting, though. Yours was just like, bang, oh, it's over.
Well,
But yeah, I mean, look, I think if we're going to talk about a tug of war challenge, season 2 of Canberra did this well when it was everyone got to do it. It was one-on-one and it was a point system. I think that's probably the way to do it.
But they were just playing for a quick reward of hot coffee, which, surely you got a coffee on the way, right? If you drink coffee, you got it on the way.
Absolutely.
And a better camp. To me, the camps didn't seem discernibly better than the other.
There wasn't that much difference.
But the blue tribe pick very, very well for this because they see that Laura's heart, obviously, sometimes they're saying Laura, her heart is just not in the game.
Laura, but they're saying Lara. I don't know. Look, she's not around for very long, so it's fine.
She's not in the game. She's got a headache. She's already talking about quitting 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
And she loses the challenge to Janine.
She put up a fight. I'll give her that.
Well, would you call it a fight? Maybe in a passive sense where she just lied down and had to be dragged over the line.
Yeah.
I think Laura's.
Look, I'm trying to give her a little bit of credit here.
Her heart and head were not in the game. She had a headache. No, she wasn't feeling well. Okay.
No.
It's a good thing that she showed up. Okay. Well, she could have not showed up. She would have I feel like shit today. I'm not coming out. But she still got out of bed.
An alternate?
I don't know.
Maybe she was the alternate.
Maybe she was the alternate. I don't know. So we cut to Red, and Dom is impressed with himself that they've won the first challenge, which I think is a nice little moment to start him off. He did a lot, of course.
Give him the ORCA award now.
Yeah.
Female alternate, you reckon, Jules? What?
I think Aston is saying that it's hard to get women enough in the first place that it's even harder to find an alternate. That might be
He makes a good point.
I would, yeah. So look, she could have woke up that day, felt like shit. It's raining. It's gonna rain. Like, if she chose not to show up, who would blame her? Maybe she's very good friends with Dan, but she made the effort to get out there, so that's very good. We'll get to her in a moment. So there's a clue to the idol in the tarps. It falls out. Everyone sees it. Mm-hmm. I feel like the idol clues for the seasons that we've watched so far, but particularly because they were read out in this, were quite tricky in places. Some of these riddles.
Yeah. I think it's hard when you're writing these things, or when you're hiding idols or something. The person that hides it or writes the riddle thinks that, if I make this any easier, it'll be so obvious. But it's only obvious to the person who wrote it.
Well, two of them were never found.
Yeah.
2 idols never found.
Yeah. Sometimes, and especially in an LRG, when there's not a lot of time to strategize, let alone look for idols, make it obvious.
So this idol clue says it's at Tribal Council. It indicates sort of under something. I think that clue was pretty clear. Like, that was substantive.
Well, they were both found immediately. I think that makes sense.
Everyone knows about it, and everyone has agreed to announce if they find it, but there's a risk that someone might be sneaky. Switching to the blue tribe, Ben has managed to find the clue sneakily.
Other way around, blue. Ben's on red.
Red, sorry. Yeah, switching to the red tribe. My mistake. He's managed to not reveal it to everyone. He's got it secretly. I
love the little edit where they put the circle around him to be like.
Yeah, I like that too. To be honest, that they used that a few times, and that was quite useful to see. Like, I saw, I missed something here, and then I was going back and said, okay, that's him getting the clue. And this is our first sighting of Keegan for our second time in out of 3 in this podcast coverage. We'll talk about Keegan, of course, but Keegan feels he's a bit well known coming into this game, even if they haven't seen him play, which you would have only if you'd probably watched Backyard 2, not likely Melbourne 1. But he gives off a threatening aura, and he's aware of that. This is the 3rd time he plays, so he's got some experience under his belt, and he's worried that people will target the threats. He, to an extent, I believe, would know Ashley and Brendan. I'm sure they knew each other before this. Well, Emily is his sister.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, I think he knows Emily. I think he knows her. So he knows a few people, and I think everyone knows that. This challenge, charades, not into this. Like, what the hell?
Look, I think what they were trying to recreate when they did it on Australian Survivor, it was funny. That's what we got out of it. The challenge, not great itself, but it was funny. And then I think it was a bit of a flop. And
I think that it starts a bad habit of the editing of this season. No offense to Dan and Liv, whoever put together. But they put in like the whole challenge.
Yeah, we don't need to see everything.
And I don't think this is something they do in season 2. I think Dan and whoever works on the editing in Canberra has learned this lesson, but they make their challenges a bit more snappy and interesting. Like, this is the whole charade. Like, it's too much.
Every little thing. And that's, something that I said a few times when we were talking about Playing with Fire. The shorter episodes, they're fine. We don't need to see the entire challenge. We don't need to see 40 or 50 minutes of an episode if there's not the content there. And I think that's a mistake that they make in the LRGs. They think that it needs to be a 45-minute episode. It doesn't. And
the content is here, but some of these episodes go for 52. If you took 5 minutes out of the challenge, it would probably be at a good length. Isaac doesn't know anyone's names, which is hilarious. He's worried he won't know what to write down on the parchment. Ashley has been here for 5 minutes and has done so much smiling that she's dead inside. She has to be nice and bubbly to all these nice people, and it's killing her. Which is the Ash we know and love. And then she mentions her past with Brendan, or Hoppo, as we know him. I don't know their beef, but I do know that going into this game, they really did not like each other. Like, we're talking about...
Yeah, we need a backstory there. We need the tea party. That's a job for Annabelle.
Well, they're both going to be on the tea party, so I think we should get that backstory. But I can tell you, they went into this game as people that did not get along. Not even just like, I don't like that person and they don't really know it, or we just don't vibe very well. Like, I think there was a blow up at some point that was unresolved going into this, and then they're put on the same tribe, which is such an amazing story, given they pretty much go such a long way. They both put that to one side pretty much the entirety of the game because it's not the best move for them ever to take each other out.
No, it is smart for them to work together. And they did work together quite well for a good chunk of time.
I thought the tribal immunity, I'm just covering my notes here. I thought the tribal immunity idol was very cool. I thought it was much better than the UK one that's rocking around at the moment. You've seen that?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
It's a log. It's a log with some stuff on
log.
it. Like a big log with a little bit of shitty stuff on it. Yeah. There's a lot of it's a fucking stick memes coming out.
That's exactly what I thought of when you said it. I'm like, is it did Aussie make it?
Aussie's is only marginally better, marginally worse. It's ridiculous. This one I thought was really cool.
I thought it was cool.
So Reds won 3-1. Have I got this wrong? Red wins? Yeah, Red wins 3-1. Blues going to tribal. And we begin our first of many wild strat chats of multiple things going on all at once. Jeremy's targeting Dom and Emily's keen for it because he was bad at the challenge. I've got in my notes, it's fucking charades. Like, are we taking someone out because they were bad at charades?
I mean, this challenge in particular highlights this, but in general, don't target someone for one challenge. Yeah. It is, if someone is consistently not performing, fine. But one challenge, come on, that's such a niche thing. I very much doubt they were ever going to have another charades challenge come up that was going to be a factor for them.
And Jeremy actually expresses he's worried about the physical challenges, and at least on the surface, that looks like something Dom is set up for. So it doesn't make it. I think he's just making up a reason why he wants to get rid of Dom, which is nothing wrong with that. You come up with a reason. He wasn't at the challenge. I want to get rid of this guy. So he's got a crew. He's wrangling a crew of Emily, Alex, and Janine in targeting Dom. And he's going to bring in Aston, and he sends Emily to get in Rose because he thinks they're close. Because I am sure they would all.
Janine isn't on this tribe.
Janine. The thing of Carleen. Janine.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, yes, you are correct. Yes, my notes
Janine.
are wrong.
And he sent Emily to bring in Rose because here's another two that know each other. Now, I'm not exactly sure how well they know each other, but Rose is Liz's sister, as we know, and Emily is Keegan's sister, as we know. And we know that Keegan and Liz have been friends for some time at this point. So to the extent that they are friends, Emily and Rose, I do not know. But I believe they're part of the same church community, and I assume they all have
They will at least know each other.
More than a passing familiarity. And people seem to be aware of this in that, they can see that they're close. Of course, we've seen Rose play in Melbourne 1. So this is the second time we've seen Rose. It's the first person to be viewed twice on this coverage. And Emily will go on to play in Melbourne season 2 as well.
Yes.
So they think that's going to happen now. While that's all happening, Dom's got a crew of Rose, Aston, and Brad, and they're targeting Janine or Jeremy. And Dom's saying the other crew all know each other somehow, and that's why they've got together. And apparently Janine and Jeremy in some way announced they were a duo in front of everybody, which doesn't seem like great play.
I wouldn't ever announce. If you're a duo with someone, you want to keep that shit secret.
And I know we've got that from Dom, but I think it is acknowledged that did happen. And then you've got this really interesting thing where Jeremy sends Emily to bring in Rose, while at the same time Dom sends who's he sending? Sorry, Dom sends Rose to bring in Emily. So they're trying to bring each other into their crew, and then they get together. And now Aston's decided he wants to turn it on Emily Rose.
Aston's saying, Janine basically said, remember when we made an alliance at the game night, Jeremy?
Yes, and I think
that is poor strategy. If you are ever going to go on an LRG, don't do that.
And I think Jeremy tried to play this down. He wasn't at the game night very long. It was only one game night. Like, and he's like, so Aston decides he doesn't like this. He wants Emily and Rose gone, but he doesn't think he can get the votes. But he does suggest Emily to Janine. And then Brad wades in and he confirms that he knows that Emily and Keegan are brother and sister and spills that to Alex and Janine. And Janine thinks maybe it could be a lie. It'd be pretty fucking bold of Brad to put the lie and say that Emily and Keegan are brother and sister. And then like later on she finds out it's not true. Like that'd be a pretty fucking bold lie.
Like if you're going to lie, you say that they know each other, that they're friends. To say they're brother and sister, that's
he's
pretty
got the hot.
full on.
Alex got the, like Brad's got the info. And Jeremy's really trying to run all these
cast know each other.
I don't think they all know everyone. Aston says that she was super sus on everyone.
That checks out.
It does check out. Jeremy is really trying to run all these conversations a bit to his detriment, as we'll soon see. And
Brad, Dom, and
Aston they haven't quite made that yet, but I think it rears its ugly head in the next episode now. Everyone's keen to get the idol for themselves. And Janine walks up to everyone right before trouble and says she's not in alliance with Jeremy. She's only met him once. It does mean I'm just like putting more on this Jeremy Janine nonsense. Like there's something going on here. I don't like it. And I wrote here in my notes, honestly, don't know who's going here at all.
No clue. Even when you got to tribal, it's like, who's going? I don't know.
I don't have a lot of notes on the actual tribal councils themselves because I've been busily writing this notes. So if you have some notes that you want to pull out.
I've got notes about who voted for who.
I got that.
That's all I've got. I haven't got details of like.
Emily grabs the idol. So Emily grabs the idol though, when she arrives, and she shows she has it, and it's the tribal idol. But no one's buying that.
Not a tribal idol. I'm sorry. There's no such thing. Unless you're going to do a Gabon and just like throw it away. No.
So we get a Janine votes for Dom, Rose votes for Jeremy, Aston votes Emily, and we end up with a 3-2-2 Jeremy, Emily, Dom with a revote.
The Emily votes were Jeremy, Brad, Aston. The Jeremy votes were Dom, Rose, and Emily. And they all on the revote kept their vote the way they were. Alex voted for Dom, then changed it to Emily. Janine voted for Dom, but then changed it to Jeremy on the revote.
So that's how we have a 3-3-2, then a 3-3. And so we've got an absolute almost rock situation in the first episode. And everyone needs to agree. And they all agree on Emily, which is incredibly sensible at the time. I do wonder, had she not grabbed that idol, whether it might have been Jeremy instead.
I think so. I mean, it seemed to be that the reason that they wanted her, it was because, hey, let's get the idol out of the game.
Yes, and Jeremy had been trying to run a lot of those conversations. Look, you might have got Aston throwing the vote on Emily because he was trying to break up the Emily Rose thing, but it might not have been enough. I just feel that, I
don't think anyone would have gone to Rocks, though. Oh, I stand corrected. Aston reckons
he would have gone to Rocks.
Of course you would have, Aston. Of course you would have.
It's a sensible vote before Emily goes out, and we'll see her again when we do Melbourne 2. Into episode 2, got the Red Tribe. Ben notes that Hoppo remembers him from a gay dating app, which seems to both horrify and satisfy Ben at the same time.
I mean, look, that's one way to remember someone.
Hey, in these games, any connection you can build, though you'd hope that he swiped right on him and not swipe left. Like, didn't I swipe left on you once? Is probably not the best.
Who's remembering the people they swipe left on?
Well, it must be a swipe right. Maybe they were chatting a bit on the...
They must have been chatting a bit.
I know
when I'm on dating apps, there's a lot of left swiping happening, and I don't remember most of them.
Just to be clear, I predate dating apps. They didn't exist when I was single, so I have no idea what this experience is.
You're not missing much. They're not great.
But I would presume...
through a lot of shit before you find something good.
I would assume that Ben must have swiped right on Hoppo to remember him. We got to Blue. They're all talking about the idol. How'd she get it? Where was it? And we cut to Aston, who's starting his, what I like to call his 3-episode Godfather run here, where he slowly takes control of everything before being completely usurped.
Or it crashes and burns.
But he says this is his best case scenario. He's got Emily gone. He wanted Emily and Rose started. As Mel said, they're keen to make their anti-woman. I don't know if that's what they're really doing. But that's what they're keen to get the group of the guys together. And he's selling like it was a good move for everyone, but it's really good for him. And now he's closer with Jeremy. He's bringing Jeremy in. Aston's really on top of the tribe. To be perfectly honest, Rose is annoyed she brought Emily into the plan, which was Aston, Brad, and Dom voting for Jeremy, and feels burned by Aston, who obviously voted the wrong way. Jeremy says it was a wake-up call. And what a wake-up call, eh? From here on out.
Almost went out the first vote.
And he from here on out, he plays a fantastic game. He was
How
a
many
little
times
bit...
in the history of LRG, Survivor, anything, have we seen the winner almost go out the first episode?
You're actually asking me this like as a...
No, like I feel like it's a thing that happens a lot, whether it's clever editing or whatnot, but I feel like it does happen.
I don't think it's happened that much, has it?
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking that Pia almost went. Richard Hatch thought he might have
we're talking about LRGs or doing Real Survivor?
In general.
Because in the Australian LRGs, it's not the case.
Australian LRGs,
off the top of my head.
Because the winners generally don't go to the first tribal.
Maybe. I guess.
No.
Okay. And everyone's a bit... Alex walks into Alex is playing I've never watched Survivor game, which is the truth. She hasn't watched a lot of Survivor. So you can expect a lot of unpredictable maneuvers from Alex. And on this one, she wanders in and says straight up that she voted for Dom and then she voted for Emily. She's just, this is how it is. Because everyone's like, who was the Dom vote? Who switched? And this actually seems to, well, in a way, it brings in a level of trust, but not because they will vote for her later this episode. So it probably wasn't the right move for her.
I don't know. I think it would have been figured out eventually. Like, I think they would have come to the conclusion that it was her. So I think you're better off getting on the front foot and saying, yeah, I voted for you. I thought that's where the votes were going, or whatever the reason is that she voted for him. They probably can't repair that bridge with him, especially with the ORCA energy that he's got. You don't forgive someone for writing your name down. But for other people, I think it does show a level of trust.
Yeah, and Dom never really has any agency in the game, so it doesn't... I don't think she's that across that, but he doesn't, so it doesn't really matter. He's often left out of votes and things like that. We move to the Red Tribe, and Charlene thinks they've had a lot more time to bond. Charlene is, of course, the wife of Zaddy Simon, as Annabelle described him from Canberra season 2. And you know, they're a good-looking older couple. That's what I aspire to be when I'm older. Not that I'm incredibly young either. Charlene thinks they've had a lot of time. No, sorry, I'm talking about Carlene. But Charlene is saying,
there's too many names for the same.
Why did they put Carlene and Charlene on the same tribe? What were you thinking, Dan? Anyway, Carlene, yes, not Charlene. Yes, that's right. Aston, I said Charlene, but it's Carlene that Zaddy Simon is married to, not a woman half his age. Charlene thinks they've had a lot of time to bond, and that's good. And I'm like, this is nonsense. For someone who played for 6 rounds without a vote out, the worst thing you can do is like just sit around and chat. Like
I think for the first vote, it's okay. Maybe you want to have gone to tribal at least once before merge.
Just once before swap, I would say.
Yeah.
That's where you solidify. A vote is where people show you what you say, what you do. And that's why Blue is in a bit of a shit show right here, because everyone did all sorts of random shit. But they did come together in the end and vote unanimously without a vote for family.
Mm-hmm.
Ash says her tribe is so boring, it's killing her, she's napping, but she does like Ben, and she thinks Keegan and Colleen... Well, Ben's great. And she's clocked that Keegan and Colleen are tight. Like, they're not doing a very good job of hiding that if they're trying. It cuts to them confirming that they are tight, which I think was a nice cut. And she wants to work with him. And Keegan says that people that work with him make it to the end. I guess he's assuming that she's watched Backyard 2. Is this some sort of like Russell Hantz in Australia where he's like, the women that work with me, they go to the end and they win?
Look, I haven't seen Backyard 2 yet, so I'll let you know when I get there. On a side note, am I going to have to watch Backyard 2 before I watch Backyard 3 for next month? Like
No,
don't need to? Okay.
No.
Required reading.
And Ben loves Charlene and Ash and is planning on finding the idol for himself. Fuck everyone. And in the challenge, it's immunity and our first of many pastry awards. Did they just go to the fucking bakery and get all the rewards on the way in?
Basically.
There's a lot of pastries.
Like, this would be a good thing if you were literally in actual survival, you're starving, but you don't need pastries every, hour?
No.
You don't need reward challenges in an LRG. You generally have a reward challenge at the start, something to do with the camp or fire or whatever it is, and then it's just immunity challenges.
I would actually say they had way too many snacks. Like half the season, people just seem to be snacking on shit. That's not what I want to see from my Survivor. I want to see.
Were you hungry in your season?
Yeah.
I went hungry.
Yeah,
if only they did that with season 2. No, Mel's saying.
I think I'm not familiar with what everyone did in every season, but I think considering the way myself and other members of production of season 4 acted deliberately, you were the most starved. Anyone that played Uncharted Waters was the most starved, and we did that fucking deliberately. We made it difficult. Playing with fire was difficult in its own right, but we made it worse.
Thank you for that.
The challenge is sort of rolling balls in a hoop, and they do what I now call the Evie Jagoda puzzle. Is that what everyone calls it now?
Yeah, Evie.
Yeah, Evie, yeah. As Mel said, starve them all, authentic experience. That's right, Mel, we agree. The Evie Jagoda puzzle. Hoppo sits out of this one, and they're 5-2 on balls, and then Keegan smashes the puzzle, and they win again. And look, Keegan over-celebrates, and Laura does like a way over-the-top dance. Like it's just doing like a bit of a moonwalk thing, like doing this, like for someone who's supposed to be unwell, have a headache, and now gloating over the blue tribal, have to go to tribal council again. Look,
sometimes your inner competitiveness can overcome you being sick. This girl's got Scorpio energy.
And maybe this is a self-reflection. I heard from many people when I playing with fire that what they didn't like about me from the other tribe was the way I celebrated when we won, particularly when we kept beating them over and over and over, and yet I kept celebrating like I won the grand final. That didn't go down.
You're telling me people didn't like that?
They didn't.
Wow, that's a shocker.
It did not go. Well, I didn't realize it, and I don't think Laura realized it either, because the little moonwalk dance thing was probably not the way to go, particularly when it wasn't even close. Like they weren't even up to the puzzle.
No, it was embarrassing.
All right. We get to the strat chat for Blue once again, and here comes everyone's just laying on to Alex, Aston, Dom, Jeremy, Janine. They're saying it's all taking a toll on Alex, but Janine thinks we should vote Rose for some reason, and Jeremy then jumps in with, we got to vote Alex because she's not feeling well. Mel says it was a good run. It was a good.
You think Mel was here for it?
Yeah, it was good. Brad walks in. They talk about splitting, and Aston suggests Brad can vote wrong if he wants because Brad doesn't want to vote burn Rose. And Rose is like, Alex still disheartened by the game and might just vote Janine for reasons, or Aston for her back, for his backflip and power move at Emily. But thinks I should get Aston, and Jeremy doesn't like how Rose is coming for it. Like, it's such a mess. But Alex is in that chat, so I don't know if he's being legit. And then, this thing's wild. Like, God knows what the fuck's going to happen. But they have sort of settled on Alex. And Alex then finds the idol clue at the water well. But this clue is also like one of the first ones that's super vague and confusing. I have no idea how she found this on.
Do you have it written there, what the clue was?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Because I can't remember what it was. So.
It was vague and confusing.
And clearly it wasn't, because she found it.
And I like the way this was edited, because you just got to get in the clue, and then you had Jeremy rolling in with And Aston said, we literally stood in a circle and let Alex get water by herself. Yeah, that's not a great play, but equally, you probably were like, it's a good chance for us to, as a group, agree we're all going to vote her out, which is obviously what happens. But Jeremy's found some string suggesting an idol was wrapped in it, and tells Rose that she's the decoy in front of Rose.
Don't tell someone that they're the decoy.
You're like, Rose like, who does Alex think? Like, so this is the thing with events. Jeremy's like, I found some string. Someone might have found an idol. It could have been Alex. And then Rose is like, who is Alex voting for? It's like, we've told her you, Rose.
So what? We're all voting. 6 of us are all going to vote for one person who we think has an idol, and she is voting for you. You cool with that? Fuck no.
And he tries to explain it away, and it doesn't work. But I don't think Rose has the time here to do anything anyway. Like, I think it's getting really close to the tribal. So, like, he's like, what the fuck are you going to do?
She doesn't have the time, and I don't think she has the agency to do it either.
No. Though Brad did say to Janine that he thinks Aston's controlling the tribe, and she agrees. So the Aston seeds are being sowed. And Aston says, as bad of a move this is, Jeremy, it might actually help him with Rose. The season is filled with people being like overly honest in places they shouldn't be, and that garnering more goodwill than it actually should. Like, this season is filled with that. It's the story of the season. The idol's under some log. It looks pretty random. But Alex, and this is my notes. Alex says she has the idol at tribal and flashes the note, but like not the idol, just the note, and then but actually appears to have something. And I'm like, is that the idol? Like, I'm very confused. But I was a bit confused whether she was faking it. Like, I had this, but it was actually the note. But obviously she did have it. And people are like, nah, this doesn't change our vote. I noted here that I like the voting location by the river. With the river in the background.
I like it too.
Yeah. Alex plays the idol for herself. She doesn't need to because it's a Janine Rose 5-2. So the play obviously swapped. I think for many of them said when they saw Alex had the idol, a lot of them switched their vote.
Yeah, I would too. Like, if you don't have a split or something planned and then your target flashes an idol, I'd be getting votes off them.
And they also had this perception that Alex was like, her heart wasn't in it. Look, let's be real. We get to it later. Her heart isn't in voting people out, like, that she likes. But her heart, like, that she just didn't want to be in the game. I think she did want to be in the game. Clearly, she has the idol. That's right. Rose mouth to everyone. I think we get this in the next episode, actually. To switch to Janine. And everyone just went along with that. Obviously, Janine didn't have the connections. And Janine feels backstabbed. And she's like, it was supposed to be like Alex and then maybe Rose, but she doesn't seem to realize that everyone just changed their mind when the idol came out. But she feels bitter. She's gone out sad, Janine.
She has gone out sad. Yeah. I think it does suck to go out early. I think you're always going to have some feelings about that. Is she a Survivor fan? Yes. Yeah, she is.
Alex?
Janine.
Yeah, I think Janine was a fan. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when an idol comes out and you realize that the vote probably changed at tribal. Maybe.
Yeah. I think that's what happened. But I think she's probably not understanding how quickly it moved. But I think the thing about this blue tribe is it's so like unsettled as to where the actual connections are.
I have no idea.
Alliance? Is there alliance here? Is there an alliance there? I don't know. It's very uncertain that everyone's just really out for themselves. So when they see an idol, Rose says Janine, everyone's like, yeah, okay, Janine, fine, I don't care. Yeah,
it's the Sandra strategy. It's as long as it's not me.
But they're all doing it. There's no real bonds. No. So we get to episode 3. Alex explains she found the idol under a log, and at this point, Rose realized it's gone 4-2 boys girls, and she says to Alex, "We got to do a boy next, right? Like we're getting whittled down here." And everyone's really not being clear about who voted for Rose. It's like, I didn't vote for Rose. I didn't.
No, I didn't vote for Rose.
Apparently, no one voted for Rose. And Rose was planning to throw a random vote out in case of the idol, but then everyone else did it as well because Rose was whispering Janine at Tribal. So a very effective move for Rose. I think
Rose played this very well. She could have very easily been the target here.
She'd been on the potential block for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, but she's wily.
Janine, not so much.
No.
Or did Janine get votes in the first episode? No, she didn't. Yeah, so Janine wasn't even on anyone's radar.
No, Janine didn't.
Very well done by Rose. And then
Emily, Jeremy, and Dom.
Who did what?
In the first vote.
Yeah. And Aston really wanted Rose to go because he's hell bent on getting out the he was worried about the Emily Rose combo, and now he just wants Rose gone. He says she smashed it. I would have sure gone for Rose, but Rose got to Jeremy and Brad first, which we'll get to in this episode. This is Aston's boot, obviously, that he's chucking in. Mel's saying,
Rose,
glad she asked longer than you, Aston. Harsh.
This is the actual reason that we have live commenting for stuff like that. Yeah. Thank you, Mel.
People can just get salty at each other live. Okay, so then we've flipped to Red. And Isaac, everyone's talking about Laura. Isaac thinks that Laura could be a liability because she's down and just complains. And then we get a cut to Laura complaining about being cold, tired, and having a headache. It's a good cut.
Complain about the elements and the weather and the hunger. Like, that is the game. That's why you're there.
I think we're going to be less tolerant in the future of people complaining because when these first seasons came out, like people were applying and whatever, but sometimes it's hard to get cast. From what I can tell now, most of the LRGs are getting heaps of applications. There's so many people that want to play another time, but they get bumped because, I've got all this fresh blood and that's going to make a better season than people that might know each other. So the opportunities now are much less. And I don't think, I'm fine with this because for all we know, Laura was just a mate of Dan's that he had to bring in to make up the numbers. But moving forward, I wouldn't tolerate any complaining.
No.
You can just quit. But actually, don't quit. Don't be on there. Don't take up the spot. Don't take up the spot.
My season hasn't come out yet, so I don't remember if I did any complaining. I don't believe I did.
Yeah, if you did, it's going to be very. It's not
That'll be embarrassing. I'll get so many tags and stuff being like, Jules is complaining. You talked about everyone complaining. Whatever.
So we go to the immunity challenge, and it's a double tribal, and the teams have to work together. Like they're separated in each tribe.
I actually like this.
I like it too. I think it was really good.
Paired up with someone from the other tribe. I think it's brilliant.
I really like it too. Except Ashley and Brendan paired together.
Well, they had 2 extra people, so they had to do something like that.
So they would have both been.
Did we see?
Would they have both been immune? What would have happened?
They would have both had immunity, yeah.
And then no one at Blue would have been immune.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, did we see no one complained more on season 2 than John Tan? Yeah, well, it's awkward. Did we see how the pairs were picked? Was it like a schoolyard pick thing or was it random?
I can't imagine Hoppo and Ashley chose each other.
They might have been the last ones left.
This challenge is a little bit disadvantageous to people that aren't short and slim.
Yeah.
Let me just say. It's a biased challenge. If you are tall or not slim, then this is unfair. Completely biased. Like,
hey, look, I'm short, so I would have been all right. Not slim, but, I got the short element down.
If you're those two things, then you were nailed. However, Alex and Charlene had by far the best strategy. And no one picked up on it and adapted their technique. They didn't let go of the hoop.
Yes.
So they were ready to pick it up again.
Well, because did they say it needed to be on the ground? I don't think so. So
no, it went to the ground, but their hand stayed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was doing a large throw, and then people would have to step into it. Like they did the same thing each time and smashed it. And they're both, reasonably probably like 5'8" women.
Yeah, they didn't seem overly tall.
Yeah, so they were both in the right height. The other pairs, Brad and Laura, that's not happening. Laura's height isn't anything. Isaac and Jeremy. Jeremy's too tall for this. I think that's his problem. Ben and Dom could have been okay. Carleen and Rose, okay. Aston, Keegan. Keegan's probably too tall, but we get info later that Aston was throwing the challenge. So they didn't have a chance at all either. And that was pretty clear that they were pretty phenomenally bad in the third round, which they got to. So I think Aston's clearly doing that.
Why throwing an individual challenge?
We'll get to this in a moment. So Aston said it was random. They were just randomly last. He's saying it was a lie. I don't know,
it was. When something doesn't work out, I was lying.
After it completely backfires on you and gets you voted out, it's great to say it's a lie now. I'm applying the Drew Christie here, mate. It's definitely a Drew Christie situation because I think Keegan and Aston could have won that challenge despite Keegan's height. Okay, so let's go to red first, which is where it takes us. Keegan's sitting on these rocks in the creek. It's also the shot that's in the starting sequence, and it looks super fucking uncomfortable. Does anyone else think this? Cross-legged on these rocks?
Yeah, but he doesn't care about comfort. He cares about looking good for the shot.
True. This is of the Keegans we get. I think we had short hair, facial hair for Melbourne. This is medium length hair, no facial hair. We'll get a facial hair sort of medium in between the haircuts for.
I think I like him with facial hair.
And now he has lots of facial hair and lots of long hair. Yeah. There's lots of hair. So according to Charlene, they chose partners, but Aston just said in the comments that they were random. And she said she chose Alex because she ID'd that Alex was on the outer. And that they're speculating that the boys are voting out the girls. So, if that's the case, that's sorry. Okay. So maybe Aston misremembered. This Charlene Alex relationship goes a long way. It was a random draw. Yeah. The Alex and Charlene relationship goes a long way in this game, and it starts here. But they look similar. They're similar age. They're both sort of youngish women. You can sort of make an assumption that you have some things in common, and they do. They get along really well. They form a really tight bond later on in the game. And they're both about being genuine and honest, and it's both their sort of approach. So she IDs that, and good on Charlene for saying that.
Sorry, saying genuine and honest making me nod off. Not here for that. Loyalty, mateship.
Ash wants it to be Hoppo because, she has a problem with Hoppo. But she's also not, whatever, as long as it's not her. Hoppo thinks Laura's asked to be voted out. She has bad blood pressure, apparently. I think they're doing a pulse check. And Ben's hoping to get the idol, but he's way overthinking where it is, way overthinking it. And then Ben is confirmed that Ben has a group with Isaac and Ash. I'm just going to jump to the tribal for them. And we'll come back to blue. Ben sits, I don't know if this was somehow planned, but Ben sits in exactly the right spot. He's sitting on top of the idol. He's got the clue. No one else knows about the clue, and he's sitting on it. He then goes to vote and comes back and sees it, I think, when he's coming back. We get a red ring, but I think he sees it on the walk back, drops his wallet, and then goes around the back of the table to pick up his wallet. But before he can do it, Ash has kindly picked up the wallet for him. And he's like, oh, thanks.
Thank you.
She doesn't realize what's going on here. And he does eventually get the idol. We also see Ash talking about finding the love rocks, which make a an appearance, of course, in Canberra too. These rocks with love written on that everyone thought was something that was nothing. But ultimately, we get the 5-2-1 with Laura copping 5 votes, Keegan 2, one of which is from Laura, and 1 for Ash. And we'll go into this in the next episode. But again, these votes, it's supposed to be an easy 7-1 on Laura. She wants to go. Her heart's not in it. But people are voting randomly. But not just on people. There is supposed to be an alliance of Ash and Ben and Isaac. And
they all voted for different people.
Well, Ben doesn't vote for who he said he'd vote for, which is number one problem in an alliance. You want your alliance member to stick to their word. And
you also don't want people within the alliance to vote for each other, which is what Isaac did.
Correct. So this sort of nonsensical playing, this is just chaos nonsense. Everyone goes on at Dom later for being chaos, but these people are chaos. We go back to Blue, and then Aston says he threw it to take it out. Keegan's a big threat. He's got to go. He's had it in for Keegan's sister. He's got it in for Keegan's friend, Rose, and now he's got it in for Keegan himself. All these Melbourne Survivor people have got to go. He's not happy.
Yeah, there's bloody Melbourne people. They're the worst.
Yeah. He is not happy about it. He's got Liz behind a camera somewhere. He's got Laurel behind a camera somewhere, and he wants them. And Liam's there too. And he wants them all fucking gone. Get your Melbourne people out of my fucking show. That's the Aston style. He is not happy about this Keegan presence, and he throws it. Now he just tried to say in the chat that was a lie, and I think he's retconning it because he gets.
I'm calling bullshit. I think that's revisionist history.
Yeah. He thinks it's between Jeremy and Rose. They would have otherwise voted Alex because no one's really tight with Alex at this point, but she's immune. But Brad, here's where Brad first pops up with this first little strategic tidbit. He says that Aston's been running the tribe, which I think is correct. Aston has been
absolutely
running the tribe. Here's Ashley. She says that Aston is anti-Melbourne. We know. He doesn't want any of you. You're all dead to him. And Brad says, who's your boy? Me? You know what I mean? I'm from Adelaide.
Adelaide's basically Melbourne.
No, it's not. We have our own time zone. Now, half an hour difference, baby. So Brad says he's been working with Aston, but he's running the tribe, and he's like, he floats the idea to Rose and Jeremy of just voting Aston out. Brad's not happy with being the second fiddle. He wants to take charge of the game and the tribe. I actually think this is not a great move.
I was just about to say the same thing. Like, you want to be the second fiddle.
Yeah.
Early in the game, if there's someone controlling that's not you, great. Sit back, let them be in charge. And then if shit starts turning, it's them that goes and not you.
Exactly. And plus you're about to go into a swap, most likely. In the swap scenario, Aston's the tribe leader, he can get targeted. I just don't think this made a lot of sense, except Brad is clearly a strategic player who wants to play strategically and sees an opportunity to make a good move. This does lock him in with Jeremy for the rest of the game, though. So it is a vote they pull off together, and they remain loyal to each other until the very end. Obviously, they're both in the final three. So it is a solid move. I think the problem with this move as well, it's a good move. Like, it may not be a good move, but it's a move that he makes and it pays off, right? But Brad never talks about this move in Final Tribal Council because I think as a lot of people say, pre-merge moves, people don't care about that much. Like, particularly pre-swap.
The pre-merge is to get you to the merge in the best possible position. Now, if this had completely shifted the game, if it was a situation where he was on the bottom and took out Aston to help him take control, then yes, I think it would be something he could talk about. But just taking out someone who was probably going to get taken out anyway, yeah.
The Jeremy and Rose, they like it. They're in with Brad. Rose brings in Alex because, they've agreed they're not going to do another girl on this one. And then Rose is throwing out Aston for picking Keegan in the challenge because he was probably doing it for the connection, which is hilarious because he was actually doing it to throw the challenge to remove Keegan, and Dom's completely out of the loop. he thinks he's surprised they're doing Rose instead of Jeremy. Like, it's neither of them, mate. Like, he's completely out of the loop. He thought
But also,
Jeremy
can we
was
go back
next.
to the logic of he picked Keegan to try and get an alliance with him. You could make that argument about anyone that picked, hang on, these two people work together. We might have to worry about them at merge. Like, I don't think that's a good argument.
Any argument's a good argument when you're getting groupthink about who we're going to vote out.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Like, you just throw stuff in.
It's my turn to tell you you're right.
Yeah. It just feeds into the narrative that they all want to vote Aston out, and they're all fine with it. Dom is left out of this vote. I presume Dom was super close to Aston, and they didn't need him and they didn't trust it. He said he did try to build something with Keegan during the challenge.
Try and get him out.
Yes.
I leaked him info.
Yeah, he leaked him info. Yes, he did actually. I think that comes back later. Look, Aston goes here 4-2 over Rose. Aston was fantastic in these first 3 episodes. I know he's here. He thought Dom was dodgy as fuck. So did everyone else.
Any good season needs a very good player, good character who goes out early.
As Mel says, as much as I give him shit, I'm sad that Aston got the 3rd boot too early and we lost the Godfather vibes. I agree. Aston is the star of these first 3 seasons.
He's getting the Annabelle Award for sure.
Oh, I voted for him, but there's other good people. But he certainly got my vote. He is the star of the pre-swap. He's the main narrator. He looks like he's taking control, and it's actually a bit of a blindside to the viewer when he goes. I feel, which is always good as a watcher to be surprised. This edit's done a bit that way, where it's very hard to know who's going, which is a good edit.
Like that.
I was shocked. I would love to see Aston play again. I think he was maybe playing a little bit hard, and he thought that he was going to perhaps play a bit too hard when he started the game. But there was some really good gameplay here. We got some people out that he wanted out. He had a good position, and the only reason he really gets fucked over is like his number 2. He's like number 1, like his second in command is number 1. Brad just burns him for really no good reason.
Just because he wants to be king of the castle.
Yeah, so fuck Brad. We heart Aston. Fuck Brad. Because Brad's not here commenting on our show, so
Thought for sure Jeremy had his back.
Oh.
Jeremy had no one's back except his own.
Jeremy likes to pretend he's a nice guy, but he was just out to win. All right, so we're into the 4th episode, and in red, people are trying to work out.
Yeah, fuck Brad.
Yeah, fuck Brad. People are trying to work out the messy votes. Isaac says he voted for Ash to spice things up, and then just tells everyone this. And then Ben's like, I guess I better tell everyone I voted for Keegan.
Understand wanting to spice things up. Like, you throw a random vote, but then you got to deny it to the hills in the hope that Ash goes on a rampage to try and work out who voted for her. She doesn't give a shit.
Lex it up. You got to Lex it up. Then Ben's like, oh, well, look, I voted for Keegan because it was like about a guy thing and having like flexibility in the swap that I could play the double agent. The people that I voted the wrong person. But he's like, I should have told you, man. I'm like, this is probably like Ben's worst move of the game. Like, I don't understand why he does it. He doesn't have a good reason for it.
You can vote. You don't have to tell people completely honestly who you actually voted for. You can say, I was on the wrong side of the vote, even if you weren't. They don't know.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need to actually be the person on the wrong side of the vote. Of course, he didn't know that Isaac was going to throw out random fucking votes, did he? So I think he thought his was going to be the only random one. Then Ash says this tribe is bizarre. She's now looking to bring in Charlene and is less interested in Isaac. Well, I'd be fucking less interested in Isaac too.
I mean, don't write your ally's name down.
But she doesn't care, but she clearly does care. Like, I don't care, but she clearly cares. Though she doesn't burn him in the merge tribe in the swap tribe when she could, to be honest. So she does I think she just doesn't find Isaac threatening. Like, I don't think she finds Isaac writing down her name as like a critical, I can't trust this guy, I got to get rid of him. Like, you obviously can't trust him because he's random, but it's not that he's
I think it'd be more concerned about the fact that your ally hasn't done what he said he's going to do, as opposed to he's written down my name. That would be more the concern that I would have.
Ash is less worried about men that she can manipulate. She's worried about the women that she can't manipulate.
That is my favorite quote of Ash.
The women are too smart. She's like, Ash knows someone has the idol. She thinks it's Charlene. She hates that Charlene's so smart and she can't manipulate a woman. And that's why she's not so worried about Isaac voting for her, because she's like, I can still manipulate Isaac. I can't manipulate these other women. And Keegan's climbing trees looking for an idol, and he thinks that Hoppo and Ash are going to flip it merge, and he wants to come along with that. We got to Blue. Rose thinks Tribal Council was a success. I'm like, you're right, it was. It went very well for you, Rose.
Yes,
Dom feels blindsided, and you are. And Brad thinks he's the under the radar and he's the only person not to receive a vote from his tribe, which is somewhat impressive given the chaos here. Like in this three blues,
3 tribals in, everyone else has received a vote.
Yeah. That's how random it is, and he hasn't got one. He wants to work with Jeremy and Rose. Brad thinks there won't be a swap. Oh, Brad, you sweet summer child.
There's always a swap.
There's a weird music going on here. It's like a tranquil. It's like the music you get when you go to like a massage, and they've got like the sort of like tranquil forest.
Look, my notes aren't as detailed as yours. I didn't write anything down about the music. I'll take your word for it.
Some of those things. This one's full of like original music. Like when I edit Melbourne and I help out, I just steal shit from Survivor and stick it in. This seems like it's got a lot of like music it bought off a $2 CD of like free tracks you can use for your Survivor show, including Tranquil Massage, number 5.
Tranquil Massage, okay.
We're going to swap, and frankly, these swap groups look. One's really interesting, New Red, because it's 3-3 with Carleen. Ash, Smells calling that calm versus heavy metal segment is my fave. I do remember that, actually. I don't remember writing it down, though, but I do remember that. It was cool. Carleen, Ash, and Isaac are on one from the old Red with Brad, Dom, and Alex. This is an interesting mix because Brad's just turfed Aston for the purposes of locking in with Rose and Jeremy, and he's ended up with Dom and Alex. But you've also got Ash with the Isaac voting for her, and Ash and Carleen don't get along at all. So you definitely want these guys to go to Tribal. New Blue is less exciting because you've got Ben and Charlene who are tight. Keegan is there, who Ben just voted for, which is of interest. And Brendan's there as well, who's been towing the line with the Rose and Jeremy situation. So, there's potentially cracks, but it's not as interesting. But unfortunately, we go to immunity. New Red wins, which is super boring.
And they've changed their tops. I don't like when you tribe swap, leave the top on that you had on, makes it easy for the audience to remember who was on what tribe. Now, you and I know that from looking at it because we've been watching it and taking notes. We pay attention to this shit. But if you've got a casual viewer, if someone's mum is watching it because they're on it, you want them to know who was on what tribe.
What about if we added into confessionals, they're the Red tribe, formerly Blue?
I think just keep your colour top. Keep your blue top on when now you've got a red buff.
Yeah, I get this. You know what, North, they don't need new clothes. They've been out there for like half a day.
No, exactly. On regular Survivor, they don't get new clothes when they swap.
No, I agree. It's like the remnants. It's the remnants of the history of the creation of the game that is now fading.
According to Mel, Dan hates it because it's easier to call the challenges. That's a good point. But he can look at their buffs.
He can look at their buffs. And also, it's not easy to say Survivor Canberra when everyone else is done the other way. Canberra Survivor.
Don't bring that up.
Everyone else is the other way. So, he doesn't love easy. He likes to be different.
No,
and
he doesn't.
Here.
He does it his own way. He doesn't follow the rules.
So, Jeremy thinks he and Rose are at the bottom. No shit.
Good call.
And he thinks that Keegan did a shit job at the challenge, which is because Keegan threw it.
Oh, my God. The look of glee on Keegan's face when he was talking about the fact that he threw the challenge. He was so proud of himself. I intentionally threw it.
A literal throw, like throwing the balls.
He threw the balls too far so that he couldn't find them, so it would take longer to come back.
Gary's not impressed.
That's just not even, because if he couldn't have it in him to intentionally miss. That's not the kind of person that he is. So he was creative about his throw.
Yet he's still worried that Hoppo might look to make a move because he knows he's a bit of a snake. He knows him, and Ben's obviously very excited to be with Charlene because he loved Charlene from the moment he met her. He says this a number of times during the season, but he's got an idol that he can only use at the next 3. So he's feeling good. And then he finds the swap idol clue, which is even more ridiculous riddle than we've got from the previous ones. No one finds this idol.
I do like that it was hidden in the bag that had the new buff. I like it when idols are found randomly. But
do you think both of the swap tribes should have got one? Because it appears that only...
It does appear that only blue... Yeah, no, there should be one each. Or was it intentional? Well, hang on, because... No, Ben had the red one already, and there was no blue one, so they needed to have one at blue. It's just unfortunate that Ben got swapped and ended up with both.
Maybe, yes, that could be right. That's good logic. I more perceive the swap tribes as new tribes.
Yes.
And that is very, very sound reasoning, though, I must say. I would have liked to have seen one in both, though.
Yes, but you can't. Yeah. No, yes, you would have. Then there would have been 3 idols out there, and then people would have been complaining too many idols. Although they don't get found, so not relevant.
And there's not even a merge idol, so what does it matter?
Yeah, well, there probably was. They just didn't find it.
Oh no, there is. There's a clue. That's right. No one finds it. So there's a merge merge extra vote as well.
Yes,
which we'll get to.
We'll get to that.
Not applying Survivor rules correctly. Anyway, we'll get to it. There's a bag with the buff. I like that too. I like the randomness of the clue. I think that's fun. And he tells Hoppo and Charlene about it, and then separately shows Keegan, which I think is fantastic strategy. He says
love doing that.
He's already got one idol.
It shows he really trusts me. He showed me the idol clue. Maybe he showed everyone, but good for you. And
that would mean a lot, even if he did show everyone from the old red. Like he's showing his loyalty to the old red. He's already got an idol. If he gets this one, great. If someone else gets it, fine. But at least he knows where it is. But he shared that info. Like,
and it means that great. No one will suspect that he has another one.
Correct. It's great to have 2 idols, but really, if you've got one and can share some info about another, fantastic outcome. So this is another really great play from Ben. I think he's doing a great game here. I like the part where Keegan's doing a confessional and then just gets distracted by a tree and starts pulling all the bark off it. Like, is Keegan expecting a bit of a Ben bomb here that he's just going to hand him idols like in his confessionals?
Correct.
Keegan, let's go over to this tree and do your confessional.
You've just been shown the clue to where the idol is. How about we do your confessional where it's hidden?
Hey, it worked for Ben. I think Keegan and Ben share some similarities. I can see the comparison.
Okay.
In fact, if I was to pick a player Keegan is most like, off the top of my head, I think I'd say Ben Dreisberger.
Okay, all right.
He's fun. He's friendly. He's good at the challenges. He's a big personality. He's got strategy. He's good at the challenges. I already said that. He doesn't have PTSD, but apart from that, like,
you're not incorrect.
Yeah, I'm loving this comparison. Rose is reflecting that she's been screwed before with only 2 people. And we know all about this.
Yes, we do.
Did 8 hours of coverage on the 32 minutes of Melbourne Survivor 1. We know all about this.
She's the queen of getting screwed, the poor thing.
This is and look, she's going to go out here. This is the exact spot she goes out in Melbourne 1. She goes out 5th. She goes out 5th again, right? And gets screwed completely, 2 down to a higher number. Unbelievable luck.
But okay, let's skip ahead a little bit. And we see that they split the votes and then ultimately decide to vote out Rose over Jeremy. Why did they vote out Rose over Jeremy? Do we wonder?
Well,
is there something about her that she could? Is there a reason she keeps getting screwed?
If we just jump back to what my notes were, we'll see if we've got the answer for this. Jeremy and Rose are pumping Ben for info, and Ben's like, I don't know where I'll
Keegan
stand
voted her
or what
out
I'll
again as
do.
well. Keegan voted her out twice.
Yeah, brutal.
Oh,
Absolutely
well
brutal.
done, Keegan.
Rose is worried that Keegan's a triple threat. Keegan tells Jeremy he wants to make moves and he's got the votes, and that he got votes and Ben voted for him and he wants to get Ben. Jeremy's keen, but he's also trying to pitch to the other guys about Keegan. And Charlene plans to work with Alex and doesn't trust Rose. And I'm like, I've got to know here, this Jeremy Rose double is fun because they were actually like going against each other in the first vote. Like they were like going hard on each other before ultimately it fell onto Emily with the whole idol thing. And Jeremy notes this. It's ironic. He's managed to rebuild this connection there. They're not playing against each other. Why? Arguably, Jeremy's better at the challenges, right? Than Rose.
I was just curious that she's been swap screwed twice. And I think swap screw is hard to get out of, but I think a good player can wiggle their way out of it if they've got enough time and charisma. And I think Jeremy is better at endearing himself to the other side to make them want to keep him around over Rose.
Well, his strength is his social game. That's that comes out at the end. Incredible social game. So I think that's right. Do we think it was incredibly dangerous or incredibly brave or just incredibly trusting of Hoppo, Ben, Keegan, and Charlene to do this 2-2-2 split? Like
you have to completely trust those four people you're splitting with, because all it takes is one person to flip and you are done.
And they don't all trust each other.
No.
Ben voted for Keegan. Keegan thinks Hoppo's a snake. Like, other than Charlene and Ben that are obviously like lockstep, like there's a huge risk. And Jeremy's there trying to sell them to vote each other out. Like there's a lot of campaigning for that going on. They're selling each other out to Jeremy to keep him off the scent. Like, Keegan saying people voted for me. I don't feel good about it. I think it was Ben. Ben's like, Keegan's dangerous. Like the fact that they all selling this bill of goods to Rose and Jeremy, and then all actually go into this tribal council and stick to this 2-2-2 and then a revote plan, which was the 100% plan. It's unbelievable.
No, they did very well here.
Like, maybe it's the fact that Keegan has played a few times, but to go into something like this, you only have one vote and Ben voted for you on it. And to feel comfortable that you could just like lock in with Ben again here, even though Jeremy is trashing you every chance he can get as like
your triple threat. The results oriented thinking would be saying they did the right thing, but I don't know that there was the right move for them.
Yeah. Anyway, it's crazy that they actually stick that. I'm baffled. We go into episode 5 and we get to show Blue and Hoppo and Keegan. They're feeling the love because they've shown each other some trust. And Jeremy notes that the Ben vote for Keegan was apparently I don't know what I'm saying there. Ben loves getting votes. Apparently, it's fine. It's not fine. Like he is not happy that they chose to vote for him instead of Keegan. Like he is upset about this situation. And I'm like, why are you complaining? They're going to vote for someone. You're not gone. Stop your whining. That's how I felt. And then Ben's worried Keegan's around, even though like he just had your back. And he doesn't trust that Keegan probably told Jeremy Rose about Ben voting for Keegan, which is why they voted for Ben. But I'm like, but wasn't that the reason Ben told Keegan he voted for him in the first place? So in a swap, they could pretend they had like this like not togetherness. It's the thing he told Keegan. He said, you better tell people that we're not together because I voted for you, and therefore we can look fractured. And that's what we can do with me voting for you. And that's why I did it. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you about it in advance. Now, I appreciate that was probably a lot of nonsense that Ben spilled out to Keegan and then probably forgot about it in this confession.
Sorry, my cat is being annoying. Look, as with most of these tribals, it was a mess.
They're all such a mess. I love it. It's so messy. Ben's keen to use Jeremy to take Keegan out, work in the merge, or work with him in the merge. So Ben's right now thinking Jeremy is going to link up with him, and they do. They never really vote together that much, but they're always like sort of got each other's backs.
Frenemies.
Jeremy wants to find an idol, and he throws out how the idol was found. I actually love this moment because Jeremy talks about how the idol was found. Emily's idol was found. That it was in the tarp and it fell out, and then it was under the thing at Tribal Council, and everyone knew about it. And he's like, obviously suggesting that the same might have applied at the original Red Tribe. And Charlene just jumps in with, oh, well, maybe that's because you guys had the best camp. And she doesn't know Ben's got the idol. And if you were Ben right there, you'd be like, fucking amazing. Thank you. Like, just plausible deniability about, like, Jeremy trying to say someone's got an idol. It's like, well, maybe that was part of you.
No, I don't think someone does. I think there's no way someone has an idol.
Frankly, the cans weren't that much better than each other, so I see the logic to some extent. And we go to Red, and Brad's feeling a bit down because he was tight with Rose and Jeremy, but he feels okay with Dom and Alex. Look, this does speak to Brad's game because he's burned Aston, and he wanted to work with Rose and Jeremy, but I don't think Dom and Alex, think any less of him. I think he can be working with them. I think they're both just like Brad too. Like these three Blues, despite all the fucking mess of all the Blues, managed to like stay pretty strong to being Blues.
Mm-hmm.
I think what helped a lot with Alex is we all know they wanted to vote Alex in the second tribal.
Yes.
But then she says she has an idol and no one votes for it. Then they all wanted to vote her out at the next one and she got immune. So she doesn't know that everyone was sort of trying to get her.
She's on borrowed time.
If she did, I think she would have taken a different approach to this swap. Dom reveals where they found the idol at Tribal, etc. And then I felt the music at this point sounded very Twin Peaks-esque, just for the older people in the chat. Maybe shout out to you, Mel. I'm sure you're watching Twin Peaks like me.
Wow.
Hey, I'm putting you in my category. Young at heart. I was there. I was watching Twin Peaks. It was great. It was a revolution of TV in the 90s. Now, Carlene thinks that Dom's a loose cannon. This is where this Dom likes anarchy. Dom's a loose cannon shit starts popping up. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, in my view, yeah, look, she loves Twin Peaks. See, she's not bothered. In my view, Dom's been disappointing. Like, I wanted him to be more chaotic. I wanted him to be more ORCA, and he's really done jack shit. What are people complaining about here? Any ideas?
I'm not sure. Sorry, my dog is starting to bark, so I had to mute myself for a sec. Yeah, look, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know.
Maybe we're just not seeing the chaos. But Ash is butting up with Brad at this point. She's like, I'm not going to pagong them. That's what everyone pagong you. It just has shady energy. Yeah, look, yes, the shirt off Tribal, but we're not at the shirt off Tribal, Liz. I don't disagree about the shirt off Tribal. We're not there.
It hasn't happened yet.
Ash is like, I'm not going to pagong you. Everyone else wants to pagong you. Carlene 100% does not trust Ash. Ash doesn't think Carlene likes her. She's definitely picked up the right read there. And we get to this challenge where they got to kick the balloons over the grass.
This sounds like something out of Sydney Survivor 1. Like it's the balloons off the ground thing, but don't use your hands.
It's a bit of a all these things are like being at a children's party. The charades.
That's what I mean. It's like it's Sydney 1.
But poor Hoppo pops his balloon to lose the lead. Isaac's also sitting out, and they give him an umbrella. Don't fucking like it.
No, I'm sorry. Why are there umbrellas? Umbrellas for the camera crew, and that is it.
Liz has described this as a classic youth group challenge, which I think is an insult. I don't know if you meant that to be an insult, Liz, but it is.
No, that's how yeah.
Yeah. And then this puzzle, like, Dan, you do really good commentary. I like the work you do, but your commentary on this puzzle, I know you don't know what to say, but he's constantly about how someone's catching up or like someone's in the lead. I'm like, this puzzle doesn't work this way. It's the one where you've got all these pieces and you've got to fit them all in. They all fit until you get to the last piece.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't
You don't
fit,
know if you're in the lead or not until you're at the end.
until you finished it.
Like, this
exactly.
person's catching up, but it doesn't. It's wrong.
I can throw all the blocks in. It doesn't mean anything. He keeps commentating like this is like ebb and flow. It's like, no, someone will get it and then they've won. Now, Keegan doesn't throw this time.
No.
Now, I want to ask about the weather here. It's like really going to get wet. It's a very rainy season. But Brad has shorts on. Dan's wearing shorts. Is it like a warm wet? What do you think?
I'd say it like surely it's a warm wet because yeah, there's a lot of shorts. There's a lot of light layers from people. People who've got like a long sleeve t-shirt with like a puffer jacket or vest or something. Like it's layers. So I'm thinking it was warm, but they all knew it was going to rain. Oh, Ashley's saying it was cold.
It was cold. Why is everyone wearing shorts? Ashley says it was cold. Liz has gone off in the chat on a tangent about youth group activities. I'm not going to put up in the chat. Sorry, Liz.
We're not talking about youth group.
So we get to the thing, and this is going to be interesting because we've got a 3-3 here, and that each three from the original OG tribes are reasonably tight, but equally there's a lot of fractures as well. Like they really should stay tight for numbers, but equally this is an opportunity to make a move and build up. And frankly, it's good it happens this way because it means the merge, even the first merge vote is by the numbers. I think it sets up an approach where into the merge, there's not really any form of pagonging or tribe lines anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Dom's thinking Ash and maybe Isaac is going to flip over. That's because Ash just told Dom that she's going to flip, but she's like, you can't desert me. Everyone's going to be pissed at me. And Dom like gives her no comfort. Like
nothing.
She's like, if I flip on, you guys have got to stick with me. I'm going to be done. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I'm not giving you nothing.
Do you reckon he doesn't believe her?
Yeah, probably. Like I believe her.
Oh, okay, sure you are.
I believe her, but I know Ash. I know she's there for the flip. Like, she's speaking her truth. There's not a lie there to be detected. But then Dom does come around, and then Brad says he'll flip to the Blues, to the Reds, but he's lying, obviously. And Dom trusts that Ash is going to flip here, but not in the future. So I think their plan is we'll bring in Ash here, we'll make the flip, and then we'll take Ash out, which I think is still a stupid fucking plan. But anyway, like,
whatever gets you through that one vote.
Yeah, why don't you want her in the merge? Like, she's the one that's betrayed the. Anyway, it's a dumb move. It doesn't eventually happen anyway. And then Ash, and then I think Alex. Like, there's a comment where Ash is saying, "Please vote with us" to Alex, so there's no tie. But I'm like, who is us? And what I'm thinking is Alex was not so convinced to go. I think Ash was reconvincing Alex to stay with Dom and
there you
Brad.
go. I should say Alex was one conversation away from voting for Dom. Ash got an arrear up for tribal and swayed her to vote Kathleen. So we might have had a situation where it's a 3-3, but one person from each three is flipping to the other side, then you still end up in a 3-3.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting. And so Carlene goes out. She's a bit salty with the Ash flip. But yeah, I think it's very good of Ash to convince Alex to stick. Ash has to convince Alex to stick with her original tribe so Ash can flip with them and make the move. But it's a great move for Ash because Carlene was never going to be working with Ash. And then Carlene's running back to Keegan. They were really tight. That's keeping them really strong. It goes on later where Jeremy remains convinced for the rest of the game, actually, that Charlene and Keegan were super tight, even though they never were. Like, Charlene was actually super tight with Ben. Jeremy has this wrong. Do you think he misheard someone say Carlene instead of Charlene when they were talking about who Keegan was tight with?
Oh, my God. If that is cost someone a game, that is hilarious.
But yeah. Okay, so we now got to the merge, and yeah, she was in Keegan's pocket. Yeah, well, she absolutely was she was in Keegan's pocket from like minute 1 in the game. Like, absolutely. It was the right move, Ash. We stand that move. And good work getting Alex to stand Dom for at least one more vote. Like, you could tell Dom was getting on her nerves. So good work keeping them together. Now, Ash is in the chat here, so she can confirm to me whether this is true or not. Now, we get all these statements about it's the night, the rain poured down, the cast had to be moved to a hostel. I remember Ash telling me at some point that it was always the plan that they would be going to a hotel or a hostel and then coming back the next day, that it wasn't due to the rain. That there was never the intent to have
true or false?
True or false, Ash?
Well, Mel's in the chat. Mel can probably tell us, did season 2, did they sleep out? No, they didn't.
Season 2, I believe, had the option of staying in tent or...
yeah, we were never going to stay, all of us.
Yes, yeah. And Liz is saying, I think there was an option to camp. There was an option in season 2, which I think it's pretty stupid. If everyone's camping, it's pretty stupid not to take the option.
Well, I would take the option.
Well, I don't know if it's an option. Like, Keeks is going to camp, right? But like, that's just where he's choosing to sleep, isn't it? And yeah, season 2 camped, but a few locals went home. Anyway, okay, here we go. There's always an option to stay, but because of the weather, they did have to take us to a hostel. Okay, all right. I'm less clear on what I was talking about. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Now, I'm like, why do they merge the next day? I'm a huge fan of merging in these things. If you've got the 2-night game or the 1-night game, to merge and let people then have the night to build bonds and connections. But I guess if they're dragging them all away to a hostel or a hotel, you probably don't want to merge them then, because you don't want any of the conversations perhaps happening or could happen outside the game. So best to keep them separate.
But the merge vote is the biggest vote of the game, I would argue. Yeah. It's the one that sets the tone of what's going to happen. It's the one that generally needs the most amount of conversation. So if you merge the night before, people can have those initial chats. If there's people that you haven't been on the same tribe with, you can meet them and get to know them. Everyone goes to bed, and then as soon as you wake up with them, or even in the middle of the night, you get up and start talking, or as soon as you wake up, you go. So I think the most amount of time is possible on that merge vote. So yeah, I agree, merge on the night before.
Yeah. Look, that is the usual approach, and then I think works best. And it was like Ash says, it was strange being in the hostel with like Hoppo and Keegan, and we were just like awkwardly shuffling to the shower and avoiding the chats. Like it just doesn't really work. So, but you understand. And now Isaac leaves because he's not well. And I must say, when I was like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, why is he quitting? And then like there's a flash about it being during COVID, and I do recall. Back in COVID, we were all very, very worried about if someone had a sniffle.
You got a little cold, better stay home.
And that's the way it was. And, good on him for then, he didn't want to if he did have COVID, he didn't want to make anyone sick. Aston suggested that if perhaps he just went and partied and was hungover. Aston is laying the smack on.
Come on, we need a repeat of Backyard 1. We want you to come in and be hungover.
Now that we're putting Goss out of season 2, everyone who went to McDonald's. Why are they having McDonald's in the middle of the game? I don't know what's going on in Canberra.
No, there is no pausing in the game.
No McDonald's. Isaac was not sick. He went to his cousin's party. Dan trying to fake us out with this COVID-19. When I was feeling really sympathetic for Isaac.
Yeah. Look, obviously, I was just like, good on him for not wanting to put up a risk. Nah. Isaac, not good enough, mate.
Obviously, Isaac doesn't give a shit.
No.
Okay, so we've got, to be honest, that's good, because Isaac clearly didn't give a shit about the game. And now we have 9 people going to this merge who are all incredibly deeply passionate about the game. They're all not super fans, but some of the ones that aren't are very here to play hard and play significantly. And this is going to be, I think, with Isaac there, he's just a number, right? No one else here is just a number. No. And that makes for a really interesting merge.
If Isaac was
Ben-
there, do you reckon he would have been a goat dragged to the end?
You asking me or the audience?
You.
I think yes, and would like to see what the audience has to say about that. Like when people were saying Hoppo was a goat and was getting dragged by the end, and I guess he was less of a player than some of the others, but I don't think Hoppo was a goat by any means. No. So, you know, Isaac would have been on a new level, particularly if his attitude was to go to a party. There's a bit of defense about from Mel that she wasn't in the McDonald's car. It's a bit like the season 2 chat is off the hook now about season 2. We'll keep focused on season 1. Ben wanted to team back up with Isaac and Ash. And I'm like, what the fuck, Ben? You had one vote together and you all voted differently. Like, what do you mean team back up?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't
know. Brad says it was unanimous. He tells everyone it was unanimous on Carleen. And I'm like, Isaac voted for Dom. Is he not counting Isaac because he's not there? Was it a mistake? Yeah. Is it strategy? I don't know. And then there's just a general chat that everyone's having how Keegan's too good at like all the challenges and he's amazing. And everyone's just throwing him for the bus.
I think Keegan loves that narrative, to be honest.
Oh, he does. And then he wants to build a resume so he can flip. And he starts telling this story to everyone that he doesn't care about winning, but he'd just be sad to miss out on the Final Four, you know, because then he doesn't get to do a challenge. I'm like, is anyone going to buy this shit? Like, what a lot of rubbish. And then Keegan tells Dom that Ben has an idol clue and he's tight with... He's actually combining a lot in Dom here. Keegan says to Dom, that's my plan. Ben has an idol and he's really tight with Charlene. And, you know, Dom's likes that because he's keen to boot Ben, right? Now, we'll come back to this in a moment. We get to the challenge, and again, there's clues under the plate. Do we like this? Another random opportunity to get a clue.
I do like that.
I like
the fact that it's 2 clues for the same advantage.
Yes.
I like that. Because it means if I've got a clue and I know that no one else has, or I suspect no one else has, I can take my time. Soon as I see there are 2 clues out there for this, fuck, I'm going.
Yes. So it made for a really interesting, and you want that to be found because it's an extra vote, which it should have made this tribal. Look, it made it a little bit interesting, but it should have made it more interesting.
We will get to that when we get to tribal.
Yeah. So Keegan wins the immunity, and he knows he's completely fucked when he doesn't win immunity. I think we all know. Keegan's just too threatening. They both have the same clue, Alex and Brad, and they both know it. And I like Jeremy's trying to sort of strat chat with Alex, but she's just like walking off. But I think maybe she told Jeremy about it. And then I'm like, why does Alex have Powerade? Why does she have fucking Powerade? Oh, they have too much food on this season.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No one's going to die after 2 days of no food.
I agree. Jesus.
Like, anyway, give them the rice and the lentils or the beans. Give them the basic stuff. Don't actually let them, die, but they should be hungry.
I agree. Yeah. Alex misses the rock. Brad's fine. It's only an extra vote. Like, whatever.
When the numbers are 5-4, an extra vote is gold.
I know. It's a great time to have the extra vote. Sometimes they're pretty useless, but here it's got some real value.
Situational advantage.
Yes, if it was played properly in terms of the actual rules of Survivor, which we've been arguing to get this. Anyway, Charlie and Ben are ride or die, no shit. And then
no, it's a secret. No one knows they're ride or dies.
And then, well, you know who knows now? Dom does, because he completely fucks up here. Like, this is like a tremendously bad move. And I don't know if Dom just got confused about who was who, but Keegan had told Dom good information about how Ben and Charlene are super tight. And not everyone seems to realize this, but Keegan's onto it. And then Dom throws Ben out as a name to Charlene in front of Keegan. And the look on Keegan's face is like, what the fuck? And then Keegan, his face is great. And then he goes back to the other group and he's like, oh, Dom fucked it up. And now we're going to vote for Charlene instead of Ben because he's just told Charlene that we're voting for Ben.
That'd be like me coming up to you being like, CK, I think we should vote out Max.
Oh.
Like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. And he had the info. I love that he just does it in front of Keegan, though. Like, in front of the person who gave him that information. Just to really annoy Keegan. And OG Blue, they're going to stick tight. And everyone keeps saying that Dom is too chaotic. And I'm still like, since when? But we're going to see it in a moment.
We're not there yet. But they all
there's
know
all
what's
like,
going to happen.
you know, Ben reveals to Dom that Dom told him he wanted Alex gone pre-merge. So like Ben tells Alex that. Brad tells Hoppo that Ben's going after him. Hoppo tells Brad that Ben's going after Brad. And then like Brad's like, fuck Ben. And then I'm like, why did Brad tell Ben that Hoppo wants Charlie? Like, there's all like just super loose lips all over the shop in this.
Secrets, people.
But Dom knows Hoppo out of the game, and he's relying on that. Here's another of these many relationships that exist pre-game here. Charlene wants a girl alliance with Ash and Alex, which obviously Ash says she's keen for, but we know she has zero interest in because she can't manipulate the women. And this is when Ben then reveals the idol to Charlene and was like, oh, it's the ORCA. The OG ORCA is here with Lucid and Stitches. That's right, buddy. Ben reveals that I've got the idol. Should I play it? I've got to play it this one or the next one. Should I play it here? And she's like, play it, you know. We're at a tribal, and Keegan tries to sell that he's lousy at social games. What total fucking rubbish.
Good try, mate. Good try.
No one's buying that shit in the slightest, mate. You're a lovely person, and I've never met a person who didn't like you, Keegan. So, like, what a load of nonsense. Ben plays the idol. Do we think that's the right call here?
I think at the merge vote, if you're not sure what's happening, why not? You know, if the extra vote was played as per the rules of Survivor, there might have been a potential rock draw, so he's taking himself off the table for that. Yeah.
Brent Hoppo says he's here. Hello, Hoppo. He says, see me slowly walking into the combo of Ben and Charlene talking ideas. I do remember that. And I agree. It's only got one more after this, and his name was out there. You know, Ben knows his name was out there. He's heard it. So it's right. And as James Bush says, this sets up the customary Survivor Canberra requirement to play every advantage that is in the game must be played at merge.
If there's an advantage in Canberra, it must be played at the merge. They should just make him expire.
And so we've been getting to this. Now, the rules of Survivor. Now, admittedly, I don't know if it's actually happened. It's just been discussed a lot. Or has it happened with an extra vote?
If there's an extra vote, that is your vote. So if there is a revote and you haven't lost your vote, you get to vote again.
That is correct.
As in, if I play an extra vote and then it's a tie on me, I don't get to vote again. So I don't vote and my extra vote doesn't count. But if I am voting again, then I get 2 votes still.
This is 100% correct, and it is the Survivor rules, but I'm not exactly sure if it's happened.
I don't know if it has happened, but I'm thinking of like in Edge of Extinction when there was Aurora had an extra vote. She made sure she always gave it to the person with immunity. Yeah, like they've discussed that it couldn't be. This has been discussed in RHAP over a few seasons, and it's been confirmed this is the rule, but I don't actually know if it's happened. So maybe Canberra didn't know, but this is the rule. It makes more sense to let, like, the vote's got to count both times. Otherwise, it's even more worthless of an advantage. Yeah, because it is your vote, and you're on the revote. That's still your vote. So I think, I'm pretty sure that is the rule, and I think that's what it should be. If you've got a vote, you've got the extra vote. So we're in agreement here. Furious agreement. James Wolf is also in agreement, or he's like clapping for Mel. I'm not sure which. But let's just say he's clapping for us. It's a 5-5, Dom and Charlene, and Dom shouts out, "You're all fucking snakes, and I hate you and love you." And I'm like, how is that not the ep title?
Anyway, and this is where they go, okay, they need to determine who they're going to vote for. And Dom just shouts out, Charlene has an idol. I saw something in her pocket. He's just making up nonsense. And then someone says he might have an idol. So he takes off his shirt.
Well, so first she takes her jacket off and hands it around and say, look, you can check it. There's no idol in here. And then he goes, all right, I'll do the same, and just pops the top.
And Alex is not a fan of this particular maneuver. This is, according to her voting confessional and a little bit of a chat in the next game episode, why she votes him off and flips her vote. She actually says when she votes, disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Is she disgusted with his behavior or his rig?
I think his rig.
Really?
Sorry, Dom. No, it's the behavior. It's the behavior. But can we just, before we get to that, like you said that she changed her vote, but so did Hoppo. So two people in a tied vote changed their vote, just cancelling each other out.
I think the plan was Hoppo had told Dom that if it's 5-5, I'll change my vote. Which is why, because Dom says he knows him from outside the game, and that's why Dom is so mad at Hoppo when he goes. He says, "You're a fucking snake, and I'll have words with you on the jury," is what he says, and it's quite aggressive.
Very aggressive. Like it was a dummy spit.
But Hoppo did the right thing. He did flip the vote, and poor Hoppo, you flipped. Oh, you didn't tell them that. Then why the fuck is Hoppo just flipping? I'm just trying to give you some credit here.
Ashley, Brad played his extra vote so wrong. How did he play it wrong?
It's only wrong because then it wasn't a proper extra vote.
If production had done it properly, it would have been.
Hoppo's I don't know what happened. Oh, buddy. And Ashton said, so iconic that Dom taking his shirt off got him eliminated. This is really the iconic moment of the season, right? This moment. And then then he storms off and takes all the croissants.
Mm-hmm.
Because he goes,
yes, well, I made sure I had one ready just for this moment.
Is the dog?
But my cat's been trying to eat it this whole time, which has been annoying the shit out of me, which is why I've been so distracted. I've been having to constantly move it away from her or for a gag.
Was it worth it?
No, it wasn't.
Particularly as they get the croissants back later. They're trying to talk about what was going on here, but I'm not getting it. But we'll get your comments, Hoppo and Ashley, and the tea party about what was actually going on here and what you guys thought of Dom's rig. We go into episode 7. Alex says Dom has to grow up and she hates sore losers. Alex is not a fan of Dom. It's gone from disgusting.
She's not Dom.
To be fair, we've just learned that Ash had to convince her to. Mel thinks the croissant still was iconic. Yeah, but they clearly gave the croissants back. They went and got them and gave them
said
back.
It was worth it. Thank you. Validation.
Everyone's into the croissants. Charlene's acting here like Ben didn't tell her about the idol. It's a pretty damn good acting here. Her reaction is very, very genuine that she didn't know Ben had it. Where'd you get that? I was at the first tribal. Oh my God, I didn't know. But he told her. He told her about her before this vote.
That's right. Yeah, she did know.
Yeah, she knew just before the vote.
Good acting, Charlene. Well done.
Yeah, she's acting in she didn't know. And meanwhile, Ash is I knew Ben had that idol. I knew it. I saw him snooping around shit on the first vote. That he was looking under the table at the voting thing. I knew that fucking idol.
She doesn't miss anything.
Then everyone's describing Dom. Brad describes him as sort of masculine, over-the-top extrovert, and Ben then consolidates this down into aggressively straight.
Aggressively straight, that's offensive.
But it's Ben's comment. That's how he describes Dom.
Don't like offensively straight people.
Aggressively
straight people.
You don't like that?
No.
That was the
I don't like people who are aggressively straight.
You do.
I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like Dom, but the way he was behaving here was perhaps a little bit over the top. But we know that the thing gets these sorts of games can play mind games.
But we're going to give him an award for it. So
true. I wouldn't have taken those croissants though. I thought and yelling at Hoppo.
I think that was a joke.
Yeah, he didn't have to yell at. I didn't love his words to Hoppo where he said you're a fucking snake and we're gonna have words on the jury. I didn't like that. It's a bit harsh.
We'll air that all out the tea party.
Yeah. We're gonna have 3 of them. We're good. And now Keegan wants to be used as a shield. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Jeremy feels in trouble. Jeremy's been feeling in trouble this entire game.
Jeremy has been in trouble the entire game.
Hoppo and Ash have decided they want to work with Brad and Jeremy at this time. And then Charlene just lied to Alex a lot. And then, she says this in a confessional. I just lied to Alex. Yes, everything was too nice, and then Dom was overcompensating for the whole thing. This is the one episode where it's not nice. And then everyone has a go at Dom for being not nice enough. So, there's a happy balance somewhere, and this wasn't it. Aston, you should have stayed in the game. You're playing the nice balance of nice, but also a bit of a Godfather thing. You had it. You need to be in the game longer. It's all you. Charlene lies her ass off to Alex here about stuff. I can't remember what. But then she goes into a confessional and says that was all a lie. And I'm like, it was good lying. She was reeling.
She's good.
Reeling Alex in. And Alex is such a genuine person who's there to play a genuine game. And Charlene's really reeling her in for this. Hoppo says it's cool that Dom blames him. Hoppo's just chill. And Ash is not after Hoppo yet still, despite all the history. But he's just not it for her. That's clear. But he's still it for you because he's never the right target for Ash. And he never is. I think in a bizarre world they could have gone to the end together.
Oh, that would have been everything.
Yeah. All right. Ben wins his immunity here, and
first we get him split into 2 groups.
Yes, it's a double tribal of 2 groups. I reckon they were doing this before Survivor, Drop the 4 started doing this, right? This is the standard of the Drop the 4 era.
Well, I think they had done that a couple of times before. They had done it in Ghost Island. They'd done it. I think there's been.
Well, they didn't even Ghost Island merge. No,
not after the merge. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe then.
I think it's a good way to get post-merge a double elimination out of the way because we know that with LRGs they're often time poor, and Island of the Idols had it too. Yes.
Yes, it did actually. That's the one where Tommy really had to fight to survive and did a good job.
Yeah. A lot of time in LRGs they have to do a double elimination.
Don't do a podcast with Survivor fans. This is how Rob Cesternino feels about the Twitter chat when he says something slightly wrong.
Yeah, see, told you. But yeah, it's a good way to get a double elimination. It's fair. It's someone might get screwed over by the randomness of it, but that's Survivor. And
I would have liked. I was going to say I would have liked 2 people immune, but with 4 and 4, that's maybe too many.
That's a bit, yeah. No, I'm happy with 1 person immune. It means everyone has the opportunity to win immunity.
Yeah.
But it means that, I think that's fine.
Keegan feels good about this. I think Keegan's just living on a prayer. You're in so much trouble, Keegan. Because in smaller group, you can swing the logic. I can sort of see the logic. You can swing the numbers better. I can see the logic, but it's not going to happen. Ash finds in the croissants that have obviously been returned. Finds.
Ashton's saying I think intention was to have it at final 10, but there never was a final 10. Would you do this with that merge?
That's a mergatory, sort of what they did in Sydney. No. People don't like that. People do not like. We've seen that people don't like a split at the first merge vote.
The first merge vote needs to be pure.
Yeah, I think the final 8 is the right place for this.
I think this worked really well here.
So Ash finds in the croissants a note, and she thinks it's Brad's clue. Is this legit, Ash?
Come on.
Did you think it was the clue?
She thought it was someone else's that they'd put there.
And obviously this is the croissants that have been returned after Dom stole them.
Or maybe it was a new box the next day.
Next day? Yes.
Oh, no, wait. We're not in the next day. Never mind.
Yes. Okay, so yes, she did think it was a Brad's flip. And then everyone sort of gets a quick look at it and sees it's about an idol and it's near the water.
They all go off.
And Keegan just pushes Brad over. Like, he's running, he just pushes him, and Brad goes tumbling. Hardcore.
I love it.
I know Keegan needs his idol, but wow, just push it. And he doesn't even know where it is. He's just randomly running down to the river, and, you know, he's just randomly running down there. And it's not like he knows it's exactly like he knows where it is. He's got to get it. They're both just random.
Water, let's go.
Is that a pushing moment? Hardcore.
Man, you got to do what you got to do.
And then Ash and Hoppo are just sort of strolling down, just behind them. Is that the most violent moment in Oz?
I would hope so. We don't like violence.
I think so. I think that push in not in a challenge. Not that we should be getting violent in challenges, but you know, some challenges can have contact. It's a non-challenge situation, full-on push, and you know, it's not even because they see the idol and they're rushing for it. They're running vaguely to one of the many places the idol might be, but isn't, because the only word anyone's seen on the clue is water.
But this moment walked so that Melbourne Survivor, you versus Laurel, could run.
Yeah, but I didn't push anyone.
No, I know you didn't. But that idol chase there was hilarious, and this is where it started.
Yeah, that is true. I noticed here the creek looks like it's about to flood. Like, it's getting full. Like, every moment you look,
it's raining overnight.
And that river's it's gone from a creek to a river. It's raging. There's a bit where, like, there's a cars are supposed to cross. It looks like you probably wouldn't drive over unless you had a four-wheel drive at this point. And Keegan's searching desperately in every puddle we can find to try and find the spot to. I don't think they're sticking in a puddle, but he's so desperate.
Well, because he's group, so we'll break down the groups.
Well, let's get to that. Let's do that group because that's less interesting.
His group has got Ash, Hoppo, himself, and Brad.
Yeah.
Like, on paper, he should be okay if we're sticking with old tribal lines. But he doesn't win immunity. He knows he's fucked. Oh,
he knows he's done. The tribal lines are dead now. He's going to win all the challenges. Everyone knows it. He's going to win the game if he makes it to the end. He's a triple threat. And, you know, like, he's got to go. And, you know, he's been describing the whole time that Ash and Hoppo are snakes and they'll take him out and flip when they can. And that's exactly what they're going to do here. It's the right move. He's got to go. The tribal councils are like together. I don't like that. I would have liked separate ones, but I guess it's for time saving.
Yeah. I mean, have them together and just have them like sitting off.
Yeah. But I guess it's so they could ask one set of questions, but yeah, I don't really like that. And Dom still has his buff on. I don't like that. When you're out of the game, the buff goes in the pocket. You don't wear the buff on the jury.
You can keep your buff and have it for your little memory box, but no, you're not in the game anymore.
Yeah.
Jury doesn't
have Dom's fault. That's production's fault. Production, tell them to take that thing off. There's some very emotional, that's the next bit. When Ash goes up to vote, she says she broke the voting urn and it was an accident. Do we think it was an accident?
Nothing Ash has ever done in a game of Survivor has been an accident.
And then Keegan says when the votes come out, once again, me or you, to Brad. I'm like, since when? Since when was it ever him or Brad? Keegan had this made up.
Keegan lives in his own little world.
Yeah, this made up feud with Brad. He's pushing Brad over. He thinks Brad and he have got like various votes against each other. Oh yeah. And then Keegan goes out. He pulls out one of the love rocks. We see the love rock. He chose to play it, doesn't he? He goes out here 10th, 9th, depending on how you do the double tribal.
7th, 8th.
But you know, he came 8th in Melbourne, so not much of an improvement. But the best of Keegan still to be seen in this podcast when we look at Backyard 2, which, as I've said on this podcast before, is his best game. Let's just jump back now to the other tribal with Jeremy, Ben, Alex, and Charlene. Now, Ben's plan here, and I was talking to you about this before the show started, was masterful. Like, he realizes that he's immune, and if he and Charlene vote for Jeremy, then Jeremy, the other person he wants to stay in the game, will also be immune, and Charlene will be immune. So Alex will just go. And as you pointed out,
why not just vote Alex?
Because it has to be unanimous.
But
hang on, what do you mean? Wait, who votes Alex?
Why wouldn't Ben and Charlene just pull Jeremy in and say, let's vote out Alex?
Jeremy wasn't going to do that.
Okay.
I think he made it clear he wasn't going to do that.
Okay.
And if he wants to do that, go right ahead. That's fine. Then Jeremy goes. But Jeremy said quite clearly he wasn't going to vote for Alex. So the move here is to keep Jeremy by voting for Jeremy. He puts 2 votes on Jeremy with Charlene. Alex and Jeremy put 2 votes on Charlene. So now Ben's immune. Charlene's immune because she has got votes. And Jeremy's immune. Obviously, they can do a revote. The revote stays the same. Now, the option here is for Alex, of course, to flip her vote. But at this point, Ben doesn't have to stick to his original vote. He can say, no, I want.
But what if Alex had flipped her vote on the revote? There's a lot of ways this could have gone wrong. If his ultimate plan was for Alex to go, there's a lot of ways this could have backfired. Alex could have flipped her vote to Jeremy on the revote, or she could have just said in the deliberation, yeah, sure, I'll change my vote to Jeremy. And then what's he going to do? Be like, no, I don't want to vote Jeremy anymore.
Yes, that's exactly what he does.
That does not look good in front of the jury.
No, but it's the perfect move.
I think, look, the way it worked out very well for him.
But basically, once it's gone to the deliberation, Alex has no way to save herself. I know she chooses to go, but she actually has no way to save herself.
I see what you're saying.
This is the masterfulness of it.
Yeah, look, I said to you before, Ben is the MVP of this season in my mind. Alex said she'd never vote for Jeremy, though. Yeah, this is true.
That's right. So we knew it was going to be 2-2, and she's not flipping. So it's done. But the fact is, even if she says, fine, I'll vote out Jeremy, Ben goes, no, I'm not voting for Jeremy anymore.
You cannot do that in front of the jury. You look like an idiot.
No, but this is the plan. I don't think you look like an idiot. Yes, obviously his priority was to keep Charlene, but this was his strategy. What I'm saying, I'm not putting words in his mouth. There is actual footage of him talking about this strategy of forcing Alex to basically go on the bit we have to reach unanimous agreement because he would have control of the situation.
I mean, when you've got immunity, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and he did it well.
I love it. It's an incredible move. It's made slightly less good by Alex having this weird crisis of conscience and sort of keep nailing her way out of the game.
R.I.P. Yeah, look, she was never going to be long for the game anyway. And at least now she goes out in epic proportion. She
goes out in a way that satisfies her, that suits her, that makes her game feel fulfilled. It's the sort of game she wanted to play. She didn't want to be betraying people. She wasn't a big Survivor fan. She was able to remain loyal to Jeremy. That made her feel really positive. And frankly, I think she's done no matter what.
Tom in the jury.
and she's done no matter what here, right? So, like,
going
out on your own terms is fine. You know, very emotional music for that one. The next 2 eps are probably going to yada a bit because I sort of yarded the notes because...
Look, next episode we get touchy subjects. Credit for them for not doing the chop thing and just having point system. I like that.
Who would you trust with your life? Did anything surprise you?
I didn't write down notes of what anyone wrote.
Who would you trust with your life? Charlene. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, checks out.
Apparently, here's a quote we didn't read out. No offense, but fuck you. Dom was great, actually. What am I saying? Like, he was a bit nothing, like in some of the in the swap. But he was a lead at the merge. He's giving all the value.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got an award coming his way. Who is calling the shots? Brad. I was surprised by that one.
I was surprised by that, yes.
Who would you least like to see win? Poor old Hoppo. Who's most likely to stab you in the back? Also Hoppo.
That's an incorrect answer. The answer there is Ash, for sure.
Yes. Who deserves to win? Brad. Like, what? Ben wins immunity on the quiz.
Are these people answering the questions in a strategic manner? When they're doing the private, what you actually think the answer is that them answering strategically?
No, I don't think people do that. I think
I did.
Why?
Because you don't. If I'm in the control,
you're trying to fuck up the numbers or something, like.
No, like if I'm in control, I don't want. There was one that I did it in an org where there was a question: who would you trust? No, who is in control of the game? I didn't pick who I actually thought was in control of the game because that was my ally. So I put someone else who I was trying to pump up. Now, it pumped up that person enough that they felt the need to make a big move that didn't work for me. But I'm saying, I answered strategically as opposed to what I really thought.
Yeah, okay. It's just if you dick around with the numbers too much, it can be hard to get the right answers and win the challenge. Though you don't always want to give the right answers because you can say you don't want to say something offensive like the bad ones, saying anyone's name. And Ash says, I answered strategically during the reveal, which is pretty dumb considering the result. So that's the thing. Like if I answer strategically and not the right answers, you can get yourself knocked out.
But Mel agrees with me.
Yeah. So then there's also yes, sorry. I'll put it up.
Thank you, Mel.
Mel also agreed with me here, which I didn't put up. I had that ready. So Ben wins the quiz and takes Brad and Jeremy on reward. Like, this is just, again, great play. He's got so much confidence in Charlene. He can just leave Charlene behind with Hoppo and Ash.
If you actually are trying to have a secret duo with someone, that is brilliant. Don't bring them on reward. Have your tightest ally at camp so that you can keep tabs on what everyone's doing.
A lot of people aren't across this, how close they are. Charlene says here no one knows that she and Ben are ride and die. Charlene's shocked about the answers Brad got. Me too, Charlene. I'm also shocked. Ash says she can't go to final 3 with any of the people that are on the reward, so she needs to go with Charlene and Hoppo, which is probably a good call. And she's basically like, if one of them doesn't go here, I'm not winning the game, so I'm going to take a big swing. And she wants to take out Brad. Hoppo and Charlene want Jeremy. Really, either of those are fine. And then Ash finds it weird that she and Hoppo have been together here this long. And Ben wants to keep Hoppo because he's a goat. He wants Hoppo gone because he's a goat. And he's taking up a spot of one of the 3 guys at the reward.
No, I agree. I think get rid of the goats. If you are someone that is potentially a big threat, get rid of the goats.
And then we had a great quote from Ash where she said she doesn't, even though she needs Hoppo, she doesn't want to work with Brendan and she hates people. Just, that's Gash. So there's a 2-2-2 plan apparently kicking around to vote Brad and then Jeremy, and this is what we talked about. You're not a goat, Hoppo. No one thinks you're a goat. You could have done fine at this final tribal.
I agree.
I think you played a good game. You played the middle really well.
I think the term goat is overused. I think if there's someone who is at the end and gets 0 votes, people automatically label them a goat, and I don't think that's the case. There's not a goat every single season.
I don't think anyone in this final 6 is a goat.
No, I agree.
I don't think anyone's someone you drag. Hoppo has probably played the least obvious game of the 6, and that probably makes him the most desirable to bring to the end because he's not a goat. He's not a goat. No one's perceiving him as a threat comparatively to the other 5 because the other 5 have been much bigger in the things they've done. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean Hoppo's easy to beat. It just means that he's starting at a lower base because the perception of him by the jury against everyone else is that he hasn't done as much. So he has to do more to win the final tribal council to explain what he did do, which was a lot. He played the middle incredibly effectively throughout the game. He did. So Ashley says she thinks Hoppo and her were playing the same role, wanting to be the swing vote in the F5, and it would have been smarter for you guys to go after each other. Yeah, at that you're probably right. That was the better move for the two of you there to become that swing vote. It didn't work out for either of you, unfortunately. So maybe it wouldn't have worked either way if it was you or Ash or Hoppo. And there's a blind side here for Ash. It's 3-2-1.
I love a 3-2-1.
A great 3-2-1. It's supposed to be. There's always the danger of the 2-2-2. Someone comes along and just flips it, which is Hoppo here. Flips. Finally gets his move on Ash after an entire game. Flips the vote, goes with Brad and Jeremy, and votes out Ash.
Yep, and I think it was a very smart move.
Yeah.
As someone who has watched Ash play after this, we all know that she is a masterful player, and she's someone you don't want to let get too close to the end because she will win.
Yeah. Hoppo couldn't trust Ash because of their history, and then
Ash says, I think I had a stronger social game had I got to Final 5, but also didn't know the bonding being done on swapped Blue Tribe. This is true.
Yeah, and Hopper was one of them had to go first. And he made the flip. He made the move. It was a good move. And, you get to Final Tribal Council, you could have sold that as a big move. And I think that would have been
absolutely.
They got this weird puzzle, which is a circle, and it's all white. And everyone is just fucking struggling with this thing. It's not hard, people. Just do the edge. Do the edge first. People are trying to do the middle bits, and they haven't finished the edge. This isn't rocket science.
Yeah.
Baffled. Ben wins his third immunity. He goes on that run that Keegan dreamed of having. And now this time on the immunity for the reward, he takes Hoppo because he's still playing down the old Charlene thing. I wrote here, everyone here is too nice. It's sickening. And Charlene and Jeremy have this big connection due to the Alex thing. And I'm like, ugh.
Hoppo says it was raining and the puzzle was wet.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. No. Brad and Jeremy are telling Hopper he's the swing, but they're also targeting him at the same time. And they all agree that they'd rather just go for the 4-4 thing or 2-2 thing, have the two pairs go against each other and not let Hoppo have all the power. And Hoppo goes out here. A great place for him to go out, actually, because Hoppo played the middle better than anyone in this entire game. He was getting information from all sources. He was then not spreading that information willy-nilly. He was keeping a hold of it. And then using it in strategic ways. And here he's trying to be the swing between the two and become the third, I guess, for either of them. And they both go, you know what? He's been doing this too much. He's got to go. Let's be together. I think it's a good move from everyone else. I think it was a good plan from Hoppo. And I think it's really interesting they end up with 2 blues and 2 reds at the end. The tribal lines were gone a long time ago.
It was a pretty fluid game, I think.
Mel agrees with me. Who starts a puzzle in the center? Yeah,
you don't start a puzzle in the center. Everyone who's ever done a puzzle,
edge pieces.
Start with the edges always.
It was all wide as well. There was no, So I like the starting bit. It's the finale now. I like the starting bit with the voiceover. It's got each of everyone's voiceover. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the little sequence. And now they know it's a final 3. And now he's a bit worried because he's going to have one or Brad and Jeremy there. He thought he was just going to go to final 2 with Charlene. I understand why they thought it was going to be a final 2. I don't know if they were told that.
Merge at 9.
Merge at 9. Well, they merged at 10 with Isaac going. You're like, it's probably going to be a final 2, right? So they're a bit surprised. I don't think it really matters for Ben. Look, my perception as the watcher of this season is that Ben made the end, he was winning the game. So it wouldn't have mattered if Jeremy was there.
Ben had won the last 3 immunity challenges in a row. I think the minute he lost, he was done.
If I was there, they would have done rites of passage. That's right. All of these shows should have rites of passage. Absolutely. I think Survivor should bring back rites of passage. Maybe we'll get it this season with the 1-hour episodes. That'd be exciting.
Rites of passage, I get bored.
But we got the 1-hour episode. If we've got to fill that, finale for 2 and a bit hours. Hopefully. Okay, so Charlene knows, Ben knows, she knows.
They don't know that we know that.
Ben knows, she knows what to do, and Hoppo was the best food. But Ben, I don't know. It's confusing. I think Charlene's trying to explain why she voted for Hoppo. because Ben's left out of the Hoppo vote, so she's trying to sort of, and she didn't tell him about it. So she's trying to like sew that up. Jeremy rates his game from the bottom. Brad says there's no goats there. It's very even. I agree. And then they've got this challenge group, the 3 stages of hell. I wouldn't really call it 3 stages of hell.
There's one stage of hell, and that's it. The rest are okay. Yeah, I don't like the plank.
Do you think you could have beaten any of them on the plank? Would you have been first out?
I would have been first out.
Yeah. I can do an alright plank. Then the ball was thrown to fetch. I think Brad probably felt a bit salty to get beaten there. I reckon he probably backed himself. And then the word puzzle. That's a tough word puzzle.
How's that hell?
It's not hell. But hey, let's go to the word puzzle. A 10-letter word on those sort of puzzle grams are not easy when you've got an additional 9 letters for 2 other words. So that's not easy.
Additional letters is what kills you. Agreed.
So they need to get a few clues, and I like when they get the clues, it gets very close. But I thought they were too close to each other. Like they were right next to each other.
You want to not be able to see.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Separate them all. Jeremy wins the challenge. Massive win. Brad thinks everyone, including Jeremy, will vote for Brad, like himself. But he's pushing for Ben. And Ben is pushing for Brad. And Jeremy is all wanting to bring Brad because he promised Brad. He promised Charlene. Oh my God, the promise!
I don't care who you promise. When it's the last
vote out Ben because he played
tribal, you get out the person who you think is most likely to beat you,
which is Ben. Charlene. This is where Charlene's like, he's my ride or die, but I need him on the jury. Is this ride or die? I don't think you can call it ride or die if you boot them here.
I mean, she died. Well, she killed him. He died.
And she turns on him. She hasn't given. She feels bad as she should, but she's also proud. Like, do you feel like she should have given Ben the chance at the challenge?
No.
Well, maybe she performed better at Final Tribal Council. We'll get to that in a moment. Okay, now getting into Final Tribal Council. This is a very good Final Tribal Council. And I want to talk about what I think is really good about it before we get into the questions and such.
I actually don't have any notes on the questions, so I'll defer to you.
Brad is probably, based on the votes, Keegan says he switches his votes in the game during the tribal, and maybe someone else does as well. I'm not sure. But Brad is coming in the front runner here. You know, we don't know what they're so excited about, but everyone thinks he's played a strong strategic game. It was seen in the touchy subjects. Everyone thinks Brad's played really, really strong. And he comes in and performs at a level which is equating of probably the front runner. It's fine. He doesn't blow anything out of the park, but none of his answers are crippling or wrong or done in a way that's not, losing votes. He just sort of comes in delivering what is to be expected. Charlene does not give a great performance. And I don't really mean here, but she played a brilliant game. She had a fantastic game, and she seems to have no perception of how good a game she played or how great she actually is, because all of her answers are just, she's obviously the sort of person that doesn't like to pump up herself. So so when she's got this opportunity, anytime the questions were about how did you do this or what did you do that was good, it was some answer that was more wishy-washy and talking about other people and stuff why they were good and things like that. So I felt that she could have won if she had been a bit more cutthroat. It's just not who she was, and we know that. She was trying to be genuine. But she could have been genuine about how awesome she was. Like, that would have been fine because she was awesome. But she doesn't do that. Jeremy...
I think she probably doesn't think she played as good a game as she did.
Yeah, fantastic game.
She doesn't understand how good she is. She's not capable of pumping up her own tires. I think she's someone that is quite humble, and no one wants you to be humble at Final Tribal. This is the time to be an ORCA at the Final Tribal.
Time to ORCA up. People want to hear why they're going to vote for you.
Yeah.
And here comes Jeremy with what I will say. I've not seen every Final Tribal yet from these 11 LRGs. I've seen most of them. I'm going to have some rewatches. But I am pretty sure this is the best final Tribal Council performance we will see. Jeremy gets basically an A double plus here. He nails every single part. He nails every question. He's got the right level of confidence in himself, in confidence in his game, without being too arrogant, without being
too found that line between confidence and arrogance
of other players. He's charming. He's got a story. He convinces people that his story is better than Brad's, which is what he has to do. And they have similar games. They both, for example, they both went to every tribal but one, right? Mm-hmm. But Jeremy's is talking about how he managed to stay over Rose, and Brad is just talking about the flip vote, right? And it's like Jeremy's story is, and Brad's like, I never got a vote pre-merge. Whereas Jeremy's story is, I was like on the back foot from the first moment. Like, Brad says, Jeremy, you were almost the first boot. And Jeremy says, yes, I was, but I've had to build from that and recover. And that story of his arc and improvement is what ultimately I think gets him the win. Aston says he really only flipped Keegan's vote, but he said that he flipped one person's vote. And as Mel said, Jeremy took the opportunity to explain his game. He answered questions and added info that was relevant. So, Charlene really focuses on, in her intro, about Team Red and Team Red being great. She says sorry for lying to Dom. I'm like, she hates that she lied. That's the game. But then she's like, we were happy and calmer without you, Dom. I'm like, why are you apologizing to Dom and then slicing him at the same time? Like, are you trying to get Dom's vote? What is this? And then she talks about how she was on the bottom. We'll get to the questions, Aston. And then she talks about she was on the bottom and Jeremy and Brad came and saved her. I'm like, what? That didn't happen.
You don't want to give any credit to anything you've done to other people, especially the people who are in final tribal with you.
All right, so Dom's question is, would you cut me at final 2 to Jeremy and Brad? And they're like, yeah, of course I would. Though you could have also said, no, I'd take you because you're not going to get any votes. Either would have been fine, I think. Charlene, he asked Charlene, why should I vote for you without using the letter E? And she just says you should, and he isn't happy with that answer. I'm like, sorry, Dom, but that was a rubbish question.
That was a good answer too.
It was.
And
then start arguing semantics about whether it's a sentence or not. Like, Dom, I love you, mate, but that was fine. Keegan's obviously the most important here because he said, touchy subject said Brad was most likely to win. So why did Jeremy bring him? And this is where Jeremy does a good job of telling how he fought harder at the swap and when Rose went, and that he didn't get voted out at swap and been very tribal, and he had to work the hardest out of everyone. And then Keegan's like, and it's about how good Keegan was and how Keegan should have taken him out. And then Keegan's like, cool story, bro, but you didn't answer the question. And then he's just like, I took Brad because I think I can beat Brad.
Yeah.
And that's and really that's the answer, right? It was Brad or Ben. Which one were you going to beat? Brad had a better chance. Brad has to defend why he didn't win challenges. I don't think that really matters.
I don't care about challenges.
No. Charlene's big move is, she says, cutting Ben, which I agree, that is her big move.
We've talked about this before. Is cutting the biggest threat at Final Four, is that something you can really hang your hat on? I don't think so.
Okay, then what else was
she could have sent it to fire or whatever the challenge was going to be, but
what else could she have said then, though?
You make a good point.
Totally the best move. I guess flipping on Hoppo. Yeah. Anyway, Aston says that, she needed Ben on the jury to champion, and that's what she meant. That's what was part of her strategy. She just didn't know the words, I think, to sell that as why she wanted Ben gone. Hoppo, what move would you make that you didn't? What move should you have made that you didn't? Brad's like, no changes. I'm here. Shrug. Don't love it. Charlene's like, I should have voted Ash, but being genuine and a friend is more important. That's the sort of shit that puts juries off. And Jeremy talks about that he should have voted for Rose at the 2-2-2 split. And that is a great answer. That is something he should have done.
Because that's something that it didn't matter because he survived it.
And Rose isn't there. Rose isn't there to vote for him. So
yeah.
That great answer. Alex asked why I should vote for you, Brad. I don't really have a relationship with you. And, he says, I've got the best strategic game, but, vote for your heart. And then Ash says, Jeremy said social game was important. He said, he starts off by talking about how he had a knee injury and he would have otherwise been a physical guy, but he had to do a more social guy. So very much leaning into the Tyson comparison they're giving him the whole season in Tyson's winning season, how he injures himself and has to play differently. And Ash wants him to give 3 facts about Ash, I guess to show that he's socially engaged. And he doesn't have, I think that he has some, but it's a bit of a joke. He's really only got 1 and sort of repeats it 3 times. And he sort of admits he could have done a better job of building relationship. And then Ash describes herself as having a gamer boner for Brad. Classic Ash. Gamer boner. She loves Brad. And then this is another moment where Brad, I think, doesn't answer it best. Ash is trying to give Brad a layup and he fumbles it. Because she's like, differentiate your game with Jeremy. What's better at your game? And Brad says he was in the better spot at OG Blue. Jeremy was almost the first boot. Brad's name wasn't out there. I led the charge on Ash. Blah, blah, blah. Right? I think that sold Jeremy.
Talking about the fact that your name's not out there, I think... Yeah. You can mention that if you're highlighting your social game. My social game was so good, people didn't want to vote me out. But if you're pointing out that your name wasn't out there, that's suggesting that you were never a threat. Whereas Jeremy is saying, I played from the bottom the whole game. People wanted me out straight away, and so I had to adapt. So the whole my name was never out there, I don't think is always a good argument. It can be, but not always, and I think in this case, not.
I agree. I think Brad just played a really solid game that was just solid the whole way through, and it didn't have the arc of story that Jeremy's did that I think appealed to the viewer.
And we hear talking about a resume at the final tribal. These are the things I've done, but juries are going to feel better about voting for a story.
Yeah,
and it's that whole thing of it represents the season that you played on. Who do I want as my representative? Well, this person had a story. It was an arc. It was, yeah.
And then Ben says he rates all their games. He loves Charlene. He loves her to death. And then says, if friendship was so important to you, why did you vote me out? You could have voted Brad. And she's like, well, I could have voted for Brad, but it wouldn't have landed me here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you could have been there with Ben and Jeremy. Like, did she not know how the challenge works?
Was she not? What did she think it would go to Rocks? Was she not aware of how Final Four a tiebreaker happens?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess she meant that.
And I don't know how much of a Survivor fan she is, but in this very game, we had a 4-person scenario with one person being immune, and it was going to go to Rocks, which is what made Alex go home. So maybe she wasn't aware. Maybe,
yeah. Oh, I felt what she actually means is I need your vote. I need you to stump for me on the jury. You're the one who knows my game, blah, blah, blah. But then that's what she should have said, not like what she did say. Because Ben seems genuinely hurt. Like, and, the answer she gives doesn't really console him in a way. Like, it's a bit of a nothing answer. And I think she knows it's not really worked out for her because, final statements, Jeremy says he's a survivor. He's played from the bottom. Everyone's just sucking up to Alex about how Alex would have won. Brad says he played the strategic game and he played from the top. So he got survivor, played from the bottom, strategic game from the top. And Charlene sort of just says nothing. And so we get the votes and it's 3-3.
It's a tie again.
What an unbelievable ending to just the votes in this season. Ties, Rocks. Like, you had everything come up. And then in only one time in 45 seasons of American Survivor, never in Australian Survivor. I know it's not always on the table because you need to have like an even jury. Like it's not always available. It's got to be a final 3, and there's got to be an even jury.
It doesn't have to be an even jury. You could end up with like a 3-3-1.
Yeah.
But yes, it's only happened once ever that we're aware of.
Yes, you didn't have the right exact numbers. So then to get on their first ever LRG is amazing. And it makes Isaac going out and partying and not showing up the next day all the better. Because if he's there, we don't get this. And, this is such an iconic ending to... And it's not just because, this is what happened in Ghost Island, but it's an iconic ending because of every single vote in this game was just chaotic and weird and votes going everywhere and tied votes and just messy votes. And to have this here... and Charlene's voting for Jeremy. It's as obvious.
The minute it's announced that she's the last juror, it's like, Jeremy's won.
I was saying Ghost Island with what was her name? Laurel. Yeah, it was always going to vote for Wendell. Like she wouldn't vote for Dom. Like that was obvious. But it's a great ending because I do like Brad's story and Jeremy's story. It is a bit like Dom and Wendell. They're not as powerful as those guys, but they've been together the whole time, but they have different games. And ultimately what prevails here, and Charlene says this, she wanted to play a genuine game. She wanted to play a nice game. She wanted honesty. Jeremy played a very, very strong game while being honest, while being genuine, by being a good person. And that's what matters to her. And she's like, it might not matter to all these people because she's obviously a bit bitter that she didn't get a single vote. So she's like, it might not matter to these motherfuckers that's important, but it matters to me. And now I get to decide.
Every juror has their own criteria of what matters to them. The minute she goes from being a final tribal council person to being the final member of the jury, what her opinion is suddenly really matters.
And she's like, what matters to me is someone who played a genuine, honest game while also playing the game incredibly well, which Jeremy did. Incredibly well-deserving winner. Fantastic game. Fantastic just gameplay throughout. I stand by. Incredible gameplay. Lots of great strategy. And there's obviously some moments, and Dom does provide some color, but on the whole, everyone's just like a little bit too nice. And that's the only thing that's the downside for me. But I do like the story that's told, and I like the story ending with the nice player who wanted to play genuine and honest, who had a connection with Jeremy because of the very emotional moment with Alex going out, who was equally a genuine and honest player, had the deciding vote and based it upon that genuine and honest positivity, which is what mattered to her and what ultimately mattered to the season and was the story of the season. So it's an amazing wrap up to the whole arc of Canberra, Survivor Canberra season 1. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest, on this watch. I didn't get to watch it. I had the chance. I didn't watch it on the first release because there was just a bit much going on. So it was really good to come back and power through this. I've watched it all in the last week. And I really, really enjoyed it on the whole. They do a great job at Canberra, and obviously they've got another season, which may or may not be in the top 5. But we know that we covered that season on this podcast earlier this year, and it was a brilliant season. So we know that Dan and Liv and the team, they do an amazing job.
And I think Dan and Liv as hosts are really good. This is the first entry we've seen from Canberra. I really like the way they bounce off each other. I think they complement each other really well.
Yep. I guess, well, that's all we're going to say right now, but we'll have plenty to say over the next 3 weeks of coverage. As I said, next week, deep dive with the winner, hopefully. Someone tell Jeremy to respond to my message. Admittedly, I only messaged him today because I only finished.
Tell someone, whoever's got connections, hook us up.
I only finished watching it today, but we need to get Jeremy in for the deep dive. His game is so good. I really want to hear from the horse's mouth about the game he played. Then week after, the tea party. Oh, he's in the chat. Okay, well, he's obviously going to reply to me soon. Maybe I missed the message. Tea party with Ash, Hoppo, Dom. That's going to be fired up. Potentially the best tea party we've had yet, I would expect. And then the awards open. You can get on and vote now. You're voting for the MVP. You're voting for the Annabelle Award for Best Pre-Merge Boot. Rose has the chance to win that for a second time.
I don't think she gets it here.
Yeah, well, I'm voting for Aston, but people are allowed to vote for who they want. She has the chance. And all the other awards that go on, we were revealing that in the final week. And as I said at the start of the program, if you're following along and you want to get ready for what we'll be covering in December, it will be back. We're going back to Backyard. We will be doing season 3 Exile. So if you never watched that one, it's also one I've never finished, Hands on Heart. So looking forward to watching from about the bit before the merge, I think I stopped.
I haven't watched any of it, so I will be binging it over the next month.
Yeah, so we'll be looking forward to covering that, and I'm looking forward to finishing it for the first time. And we will be then, where do we vote? Mel asked. Well, when I posted the link to this show in the live reality, if you're not following Live Reality Games, the page, this wonderful program we're part of here that covers all sorts of live reality games across the world, follow that on Facebook, and that's generally where I post where this pops up. And equally, I am posting links to these videos and the votes in the Survivor Canberra chat, the Survivor Melbourne chat, and the Survivor Backyard Survivor chat, the discussion group pages, not the official pages, but the discussion group pages where I can post. So they're all there. Follow these things. You'll see the thing. The link's there. Get on and vote. And as I said, we'll be covering, we still have another 3 weeks on this, which I'm looking forward to, and then into the next group in December. So thank you, Jules, again for joining me, for taking, this is our longest one yet, but I think it was deserving.
It was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, but it's a full coverage. It's authentic. We've got to get the deal done. And thank you for joining me as always. And, I'll be looking forward to catching up with you again in a month when we do Exile. Thank you to everyone in the chat, especially the contestants that were on the season, or the crew that were there, who were able to provide comments and give us that feedback and answer our questions as we're postulating wildly and theorizing what may have happened. Always great to have people live. I know a lot of people listen later on. They listen to the podcast, exercising, commuting, what have you. We appreciate everyone that's watching live. We appreciate everyone that listens later. We appreciate everyone that supports what we're trying to do here and, supports the LRG community. We all know it's a wonderful community. We all love the self-love, the self-cuddle. We're all wonderful. We're all amazing, but we are, and we all love propping each other up. So everyone's great. We're great. You're all great. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon.